The pigeon is alive and well. Very well planted. He's back in this match now.
But he could square up. He does square up. He finds the 104.
Buoyed by the fact that Harrison was so brilliant. But that is a double hit. At the first time of asking, and he saw his.
And Lonsdale's finally on the board. Hello everybody, welcome along to the Modus Super Series, and on a night when the 10,000 metres took centre stage in Paris, we head towards the final sprint of our marathon race here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And looking at the sprint finish and hoping it's not a photo finish is the Asset Paul Nicholson, but it was a photo finish this afternoon where Moreno Bolom came from the back of the pack, beat the pacemakers and then landed second spot.
Typical behaviour from someone who's done it before. There's nobody in this building who was surprised by what we saw. But this time it was just a bit more exciting, wasn't it? Because it wasn't him involved in the last game where he had to win it to get through. He had to win his match and then wait for somebody to stumble. And it just so happens that Simon Adams just fell one short.
Thomas Banks won the group in the end, and he just looked so assured for it. He had a little bit of a wobble at the beginning of the session, but his recovery was admirable.
Yeah, I think the behaviour of Tuesday and Wednesday in Group A, he fed that through to Thursday, and even though he did have that wobble, he recovered brilliantly, like you said. So I think a deserved winner of Group C, and someone who is playing an awful lot of darts at the minute, but has got a lot of energy left and will be relishing his first Saturday night.
Well, let's have a look at the tournament brackets ahead to the final night's worth of qualification. Conor Heenahan won Group A on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Thomas Banks and Moreno Bolom, as you just said, making their way through Group C, whilst Group B will finish off by around about 1 o'clock this evening. And it's Mike van Dijvenbode and Scott Mitchell that hold all the cards. They won 3 from 4 of their opening night's worth of fixtures. And for Mike van Dijvenbode, a player who we haven't seen so much recently, dropped off the Pro Tour, then took a bit of a break from the sport, coming back into the limelight last night, and it felt like he never really was away.
I think that's very accurate. It's an easy thing for us to say, but he looked so assured. And for someone who has never played here before, he looked nerveless. Someone who obviously knows what it's like to play in different arenas, and he's still very young. We sometimes judge players at a very young age, but when he was doing really good things, taking out legs without faffing around, we've got to take notice of this guy. It could be the week of the pigeon messenger. Now, there's a line I never thought I'd say. But Mike was so confident, so ready for this. And the amount of information that we had coming into this week about him was minimal. But now we've got the information from last night. We expect him to do more.
Well, Scott Mitchell's also on 6 points. This is how the table looks. He joins Mike van Dijvenbode on that figure. Stefan Hendrick on 4 points. Steve Hine and Tom Lonsdale on 2. We'll talk about the bottom 3 in just a second. But let's begin with Scott, because it felt like a typically Scott Mitchell evening yesterday. Okay, he had that little bit of a wobble against Stefan. But other than that, it was around the 90 region. The doubles may be a bit below par, but it was consistent enough to get jobs done.
Yeah, it's pretty tidy. I don't think Scott will be happy with the way he played. He knows he's got a lot more in the tank. But he knows more than anybody, because he's sat in the chairs on this floor where he's been talking to you and talking to other people. He knows that Thursday and Friday in Group A is about getting through. He has found his way to 6 points in the first night. That's a really good accomplishment. If he does that again, he's going to be through. And then he wants to have his best level on Saturday night to get that elusive weekly title. But I think tonight he just wants to show a little bit more efficiency, because last night the doubles were a little bit lacking, and that's why he did lose one of his games.
Did it feel like there was a table separation last night when you look at the bottom 3, Stefan, Tom and Steve? Did it feel like the top 2 are just a little bit better than the rest?
Yeah, it does feel that way. It almost feels as if the top 2 will make their way through in the first half of play tonight. And when we've got 5 matches left, at this stage, my guesstimation is that we're going to be talking about positions 3, 4 and 5 on the table right now, gunning for that last spot, because I do expect Mike and Scott to qualify.
Well, the odds are reflective of that. Scott and Mike, both heavy favourites. Mitchell 8-11. He's been the heavy favourite for this group ever since before a dart was thrown. Tom Lonsdale out at 66-1. Steve Hine at 40-1. We know the ceilings that both of them have, but particularly in the case of Tom, there wasn't really signs that that was there yesterday.
No, not at all. His confidence has been hit a little bit by not winning Group A, but he's still not out of it. Here's the thing about Group B and night one. As long as you're still in with a fighting chance, and he's only 2 points behind a qualification spot, he might see Scott and Mike go into the distance, but it's about getting through, isn't it? Doesn't matter whether you get top, second or third. It's just about getting to Saturday night, somewhere he's been before, and the games against positions 4 and 3 at that point, well, they're going to be crucial, aren't they? They're going to feel like 4-pointers.
Right, let's play some yes and no and one-word answer questions about tonight's session. Mike and Scott, do they make it through?
Yes, they do.
Who takes third?
Ask me another one. That's a tough one. I see inconsistencies with Stefan. For the majority of this week, he's been averaging around 78 to 80. And we saw with Simon Adams, he's been doing the same, scrapping very well and picking up the scraps. But I do see him possibly faltering and maybe being squeezed out. So if it's going to be between Lonsdale and Hine, I'm probably going to have to go with Lonsdale, but only just. It might have to be by the tiniest of margins.
It wasn't quite one word, but we'll take it nonetheless. It's 18 plus, begambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series here. And we're going to kickstart with the man at the top of the table, Mike van Dijvenbode in action. He is taking on Stefan Hendrick in the first game of the evening session earlier on this evening. I caught up with Mike. Mike, great to see you here at the Super Series. Great to see you back on the stage. And night one, it looked like you've never really been away.
Yeah, I think it was a good night. I'm really happy with how I performed, and hopefully I can do the same again tonight.
What was your expectations performance-wise going into yesterday? Because it's been a while since we've seen you on a stage like this.
Yeah, that's been a while. I think I know I can play well, but I didn't know what to expect. So I just went with an open mind in, and then just look how it goes.
Let's talk about yourself. You took a little bit of a break from the sport. What's the last few years look like for Mike? And what was the factor you thought, actually, I'm willing to give the sport another go again?
I think I always felt the feeling that I want to come back, but I just waited for the right moment. And I think this year was the right moment for me to start playing again. Not too much. I don't play very often, but it's just a little start. And then from there we see where we go, where we're going to end.
So in terms of this week, was it just a case of just seeing where you're at? Obviously you want to win, but results maybe wasn't the end goal.
Well, I'm here and I want to win, obviously, and I'm going to do all my best of it. But I didn't know exactly what to expect. So in that case, I'm open-minded this week. But when I'm here, I want to perform, and I'm trying all my best for every game.
And in terms of tonight, in a very good position, obviously top of the table going into tonight's play. What do you think you've got to do this evening to make it through to tomorrow?
I think I have to play very well, because even that I won 3 matches yesterday, it doesn't mean anything for today, because they're all 4 great players, and I have to play well every match to win them. So I'm gonna play. I need to play good darts, and then hopefully, make the results.
Well, we look forward to watching you play. Mike, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Really interesting character is Mike van Dijvenbode, and a really interesting story as well. And we're going to see him 4 more times this evening, and likely we're going to see him on Saturday night as well, as he takes on Stefan Hendrick, who yesterday picked up 4 points, but wasn't at his best, particularly in comparison to his exploits on Wednesday. We'll delve into that as the night goes along. But this game 1 of 10 that we're going to be bringing to you on this Friday evening. The final 10 qualifying matches before tomorrow evening's final. Stefan Hendrick, Frito, as we like to call him, Mr. Chips, winner on the Belgian Darts Tour on the ADC, up against Mike van Dijvenbode, twice a Development Tour winner, age 25. The Pigeon is back on the hockey, and it was like he was never away on Thursday evening. Talking about never being away, the asset, Paul Nicholson, is alongside me.
The Pigeon is on the hockey. What a classic line that is. That's worthy of a T-shirt.
First leg, it's Stefan to throw first. Game on.
Maybe that's what we should do here at the Modus Super Series. We should have a T-shirt line with lines you would only hear at the live lounge.
100.
The pigeon is at the hockey, playing Mr. Chips. I'd buy a T-shirt like that. How close
140.
will the pigeon be to Saturday night if he beats Stefan?
I think he'd pretty much be there because he'd be 4 points in front of Stefan Hendrick, 6 points to be
140.
left to play for. And then in terms of Steve Hahn and Tom Lonsdale, would he be 6 points in front? And with 6 points left to play for. And so there'd be a massive, massive gap. He'd virtually be there, you would think.
100.
But this is a solid start. He's kicking off where he left off yesterday evening, and there's no signs of relenting at all. He was the unknown quantity
100.
going into this week, just based off the fact that we didn't know what level he was still ascertaining with the level he's showing us so far. Well, let's get this right. If he keeps at it, it's week-winning form when you compare it to the rest of the field.
97. Stefan, you require 161.
Very solid start from both.
41.
That's been Stefan's
Mikey
problem this week.
require 84.
He's had some great visits, but he's had some awful ones as well. That's a great recovery. 32 left to break in 12.
Game shot on the first leg.
So much
Mike van
quality on
Dijvenberg.
show last night, and he starts with quality here. Yesterday,
Second leg. It's Mike to
he
throw
averaged
first.
87.48, which was the best running average of the night. Only the one maximum, though. Just goes to show you don't need to top the table
100.
with a bunch of maximums. That's where Mike and the winner of Group C, Thomas Banks, that's where they
45.
differ. And if you weren't tuning in earlier, Thomas Banks spoke with Henry and I and said he's not a big 180 hitter.
64.
Well, Thomas, I'm going to call you out on that because I am going to call you something with the word bull in it that rhymes with hitter.
60.
I don't believe you.
Well, we saw with Colin Scott's performance last week. He had 120 of our maximum
99.
in there. Yes, 180s are great, but consistency in terms of scoring power, particularly with 2 triple turns, that's what's going to make hay when the sun shines.
108.
But the issue for Stefan is it's been all or nothing this week, as you rightly say. He's had a lot of 180s at points, but the follow-ups haven't quite been as desired.
58.
Well, yesterday he had a 180 followed by 5. 2 single ones and a 3. That's what we're referencing.
80.
Yeah, Stefan's average last night, 78.42. The lowest of the lot, but found his way to the middle of the pack.
100. Stefan, you require
So
136.
he's been doing exactly what Simon Adams has been doing all week. Not averaging massively, but still picking up victories.
However, for Simon, it told over the course of 5 days, and it was Moreno Blom who made it through. Now,
60.
last night,
Mikey
at the end of
require
Group
80.
C, Moreno Blom was 40-1 to win the week. He's actually coming to 13-2. And Mike van Dijvenbode has made some severe moves. He's now the second favourite, 11-2.
60.
Starts like this are showing as to
Stefan, you
why.
require
He
76.
recovered well again there, but this time he didn't have the end product. Double 4.
68.
No end product there
Mikey
either.
required 20.
The pigeon last night, he was remarkable on doubles. Almost 49% for the night. Oh, now.
No score.
That was very awkward.
Stefan, you require 8.
And this is where Mr. Chips has been dipping his bread. When a player misses, he takes advantage. One more double 2.
6.
Doesn't go. And so
Mikey
Mike will
required
return
20.
for that 2-love lead. Double 10 is the target. And
Game
double
shot
10
on
is what is
second leg.
found.
Mike van
And Mike van Dijvenbode will open up a 2-net advantage. Not quite the class of leg 1, but he is in full control, full
Third leg,
ascendancy
it's
of this
Stefan to throw
first
first.
Tuxton tussle
Game
of the
on.
evening.
Still pretty good. 34 darts for the first couple of legs.
45. 100.
I like how still he is when he throws those darts with ferocity. Some people, they have a jump or some sort of reaction when they throw a dart.
96.
Look at Johnny Clayton, for instance. His head lifts and snaps backwards. Look at Van Duijvenbode's head in its entirety. There's very little movement there. It's a very easy action.
97.
Whereas with some others, you can look at them and they almost look like they've been electric shocked a little bit.
100.
It's not a criticism by any means. It's just an observation of how people react to throwing something.
140.
It's a bit like the javelin. When you watch the Olympics over the course of the last generation, some people, when they threw the javelin, they would have a
100.
massive yelp.
Mikey
And some of them would even fall over.
164.
And then he would look at someone who would just casually fling it and still knock it out in 90 metres. It's all personal preference.
132. Stefan, you require 160.
Mike is cruising at the minute.
60.
Dare I say, if Mike
Mikey
can carry on
required
playing at this level, and he
32.
played at round about this level a lot of last night's action, or to a lot of last night's action, as he goes for double 8 for 3-0. Thought he was in, has to come back. Double 4 is what he wants. Doesn't go.
24.
But that 11 to 2
Stefan,
to
you
win the week
require
could be
100.
interesting. Hendrick can make this game interesting if he finds the ton. Tops. Couldn't fire.
80.
And Van
Mikey
Duijvenbode now
require
looking
8.
for 3-0 on double 4.
You don't expect him to miss this. This is difficult now.
6.
This
Stefan,
wasn't
you
happening last
require
night.
20.
He's missed 10 darts at a double in this first match of the evening. And how
Game
many
shot on the
times
third leg,
is Stefan going to get away with it?
Hendrick.
Right now, if you're Steve Hine
Fourth leg. It's
or
Mike
Tom
to throw
Lonsdale
first.
in
Game
the
on.
practice room right now, the result you want is for Mike to win handsomely.
85.
I think both of the people at the bottom of the table in Hine and Lonsdale, they want to have a bit of a scrap for spot 3. They don't mind if Mitchell and Mike go into the
85.
distance. They see their best chance of getting spot 3 and into Saturday. But
59.
here's the thing, if Hendrick does win this match, he would find his way to 6 points, and there's a 4-point gap then between the top 3 and the bottom 2. That's not what they want.
100.
And Stefan again will be doing that classic thing of just finding ways to win matches. He won't care how, as long as he does. And we saw on Wednesday, particularly at points where
100.
that top game came out of the locker. But I think settling on the stage has taken Stefan a little bit longer than perhaps he expected. But
140.
that looked like a relaxed 3 darts when it released the hand.
There's a lot of colliding going on around that 60 bed when Mike is throwing. That's a really good sign.
71. Mikey require
Great last dart.
117.
But a chance for his third leg this time. This could have been a match dart.
77. Stefan, you require 105.
But he has missed 11 darts at a double in this contest thus far. Hendrick could level up here if he pins the 105. Tops.
85.
Doesn't go.
Mikey require 40.
Can he take it this time?
Game
Now
shot
it's
on the
3-1.
fourth leg. Mike Van Duijvenbode.
The reason why we know that Mike is not related to Dirk is because
Fifth
he
leg.
told
It's
us.
Stefan to throw first.
And
Game on.
they're spelt differently. There's no J in Mike's Duijvenbode,
81.
whereas there is for Dirk.
Well, yesterday there was a epidemic happening. It was
93.
missed double-itis. It was rampaging through the live lounge quicker than mad cow disease. But the only player who
100.
didn't suffer from that prognosis and maybe got the vaccination towards it was Mike van Dijvenbode. That was his strong suit, 48% on the doubles. But it looks like he may have come down
96.
with this infectious illness tonight, because he is 3 from 15 on the outer ring, and he better call a darting doctor if that's to continue to be the case.
44.
Are there any darting doctors apart from Patrick Chaplin?
Linda Duffy.
80.
I'll give you that. Yeah, 12 misses at double in a match that is not completed. Never a decent sign, but it might be something he can get
100.
away with. Are there any other doctors in darts? As in
90.
ex-players or future talents? Do they actually have doctorates? I never thought about this.
I mean, he's not a doctor, but he works in the medical
83.
field. Keegan Brown.
Mike, you require
It's
142.
about as close as you're going to get, I think.
142 for Mike. It's not going to go, and so Hendrick here has the opportunity to bring it back to 3-2 if he can take out the 93.
42. Stefan, you require 93.
And Van Dijvenbode is sat laid on a ton for the match. Great recovery with dart 2. Double 16.
Game
That
shot
was
on
an
the fifth
excellent
leg.
finish.
Stefan
Great
Hendrick.
composure with dart 2 and 3. And Stefan Hendrick extends this match, forces Van Dijvenbode to take it out,
Sixth leg.
to
It's
serve
Mike to
it
throw
out.
first.
And he has the
Game
darts
on.
here, the Dutchman, to see through a 4-2 win. And this is great news for him. I'd say it's bad news for Hein and Lonsdale, but I think
95.
realistically within themselves, I don't think Mike or Scott were particularly their battle tonight. I think they probably targeted one player
100.
only, and that was Stefan Hendrick.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think Steve Hein and Tom Lonsdale are too worried about the margin of victory. They just want Mike to get the win.
134.
Because if you look at the positive sense of Mike and Mitchell, they are well above all square. Whereas Hendrick, Hein and
43.
Lonsdale are well below.
Well, if you're Tom Lonsdale, you've got an opportunity to really make hay while the sun shines. He plays Steve Hein in the next game and then Stefan Hendrick after that.
140.
If he can pick up 2 wins there, he is in a very good position. Particularly when you consider the fact that Mike looks set here to get the job done eventually.
100.
He's going to get
Mike, you
6
require
starts on 132.
132.
But there are no guarantees. We said that about our friend Scott from Scotland earlier. However, it is a match start.
120.
That would have been the first ton plus check out of the night. We didn't get that many last night. We only got 5. But again, the person with the most was Mike. And there he comes. Just in case.
80. Mike, you required 12.
To get over the line. He's made it hard work at points. Double 3.
Game
And Van
shot and the
Dijvenbode
match.
is over
Mike
the
Van
line. He gets the
Dijvenbode.
better of Stefan Hendrick by 4 legs to 2. Well, the scoring power was up there for Mike, but it was the finishing at points which was a bit of a downer for him. But he manages to down Hendrick as the pair have a conversation about the game they've just seen. And that's despite 14 missed starts as a double for Mike Van Dijvenbode. He gets over the line 4-2 against Stefan Hendrick. Coming up next, big game at the bottom of the table. Steve Hein and Tom Lonsdale. You get the sense this could be a mini knockout match. The winner of this game, well, they may put themselves back in contention. The loser has got a lot of work to do. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Mike van Dijvenbode got the better of Stefan Hendrik by 4 legs to 2, averaging just under 89, and that's despite missing 14 darts of the double. He moves on to 8 points, 6 clear of these two here, although the gap to 1 will be reduced to 4, and one of these players will move on to 4 points as Steve Hine takes on Steve Hine. An interesting game, an intriguing match between two players who, before the dart was thrown, would have harboured high expectations in terms of qualifying for Saturday night's final, but night 1 did not go to plan. Steve Hine, the 55-year-old from Coventry, former UK Open quarter-finalist, has qualified before, has made a semi-final before, up against Tom Lonsdale, a man who has had an average in excess of 111 on this stage. The 27-year-old from Bridgewater looking to tread water on Saturday night. However, he has not really made the inroads this week that he would have liked. He came close to winning Group A, but was unable to see out Conor Heenahan, and last night was a bit of a disaster for him. He is hoping to turn his fortunes around here.
First leg, it's Steve to throw first. Game on.
Not a good start for Steve. Boards that way.
Needs Simon Adams' compass.
I'm not
58.
sure how many parts of Steve Hine's game last night he'll be pleased with. I've just been looking over his numbers. Average, 82.72. He's not going to be happy with that. Ton plus checkouts, 1. No, he won't be happy with that.
45.
High average in a performance, 87.06, which he had against Lonsdale. Will he be happy with that? I don't think so.
100.
And he definitely won't be happy with 9 out of 34 on the doubles for 26%.
100.
That's one side of the coin. I said on the air yesterday that I don't think Steve Hine is a big 180 hitter. And we've already referenced Thomas Banks.
58.
We think that he's telling fibs. However, Hine hit 5 maximums yesterday in his 4 games.
60.
Would he be happy with that? I think he would. I think if he hits 1 max per game, he'll be quite pleased. Because he's not known for it.
60.
But there are other parts of his game that need brushing up. And he admitted to us last night, Henry, that the first game stayed in his mind for at least a couple of hours after. All those missed starts at double against Hendrik, it plagued his evening.
60. Steve, you require 98.
So Hine first poke at the 98 on throw. And is strayed a little bit wide. And so Lonsdale will get a crack at the 124 to break the throw in the opener.
17.
Bit of a disaster
Tommy
of his,
require
leaves himself an 81.
124.
Lonsdale needs a treble for the ball, and the treble will be treble 18 now. Unable to locate, and so Hine will return. 81 in hand to
Steve,
take
you
the opening
require
leg.
81.
Clickety click, Steve. 66. He's had a brain freeze. Get him out the freezer.
33.
Somebody left
Tommy
the muffins in the
require
freezer.
83.
I don't know what happened there. Tom knows what he's going for.
58.
Unfortunately, he doesn't get it.
Steve, you require 48.
Well, Hine may be able to rectify the situation if he can find double 16.
16.
But he's unable to
Tommy
atone
require
for his errors,
25.
and so Lonsdale will come back for another crack to break the throw.
Got to go over the top.
9.
Always the risk
Steve, you require
when you hit
32.
the outside of that double 8 and the way his darts sit in the board. Can Steve get away with leg 1?
Game shot on of first
And
leg.
now he can
Steve Hine.
forget about what happened in that leg. He probably doesn't even know what he was
Second
thinking.
leg, it's Tom to throw first.
But at least he's won the leg.
I think it's a leg that I think we'd all like to forget and never see
45.
again.
A bit like that pigeon I met once.
What, Mike?
45.
No, it was in Brighton. Stole my mackerel sandwich. Can't forget it.
60.
Moving swiftly on. Tom Lonsdale yesterday, the same as Hein. I don't think he'll have been pleased with the way he played last night.
100.
Even the game he won against Hendrick, he only averaged 77. Something hasn't clicked in the last couple of days.
180.
That's a little bit better. But this game is
60.
about trying to replicate doing that more often. Look what he's doing.
Is Tom one of those players
100.
that needs something to flow for him in the fact that he needs to ride off of something to a certain extent?
Yeah, but he probably doesn't know what it is. Now, this is my
26.
point
Tom, you require
about
116.
some players that are coming through. They can be streaky. They can have hot games, like he has.
60.
He's averaged over 113 here. He's had decent runs, making Saturday before. But in order to be consistent, to be a threat
41.
more
Tom,
often,
you require 56.
to do what Connor Scott's doing at the minute, you've got to know what you're doing right. And some people just don't know what that is.
24.
Well, luckily for Lonsdale, he's got plenty of time to take out the double 16.
39.
Because it's
Tom, you
felt like
require
Steve, even though he's 1
32.
0 up, hasn't really recovered from that moment. Double 8. To square us up.
16.
Well, he's now missed 7 darts at a double in this contest as Tom Lonsdale.
60. Tom, you require 16.
I think in this game, we are seeing the pressure that's on both players to get the 2 points here. This feels like a
12.
final.
Steve, you require
Because whoever loses it
130.
is going to be in serious jeopardy. Bull.
105. Tom, you require 4.
The fact that he had a chance is miraculous.
Game shot
Lonsdale
second
does
leg.
take the
Tom
leg.
Lonsdale.
This is not a good game. I'm not going to
Third
sit here
leg.
and
It's
say that
Steve
it
to
is.
throw
It isn't.
first. Game on.
It is a bag of nerves, this one, because I'm convinced that these two think that whoever loses is not going
80.
to qualify. And they desperately want to.
And the problem is they want it too much.
49.
It's a fine balance, isn't it? Wanting something and being able to perform. You look at some of the swimmers in the Olympics, the runners.
85.
One of the reasons why Usain Bolt was so great is because he could run relaxed. Imagine trying to sprint rigid. It can't be done.
60.
Great sprinters sprint relaxed. Great swimmers swim relaxed.
60.
Even archers, you've got to have good core strength and you've got to be able to do it whilst in a calm state. Otherwise, you've got no feel.
96.
It's the same in darts.
Well,
Well, that's a little bit more like it from Steve Hein. But you sense the big
59.
worry is the
Steve, you
loser of
require
this game could be in
136.
for a very long evening.
Yes. And with only 2 points guaranteed
98.
at the end of this one for the person who loses, the best they can do is 8 points. And there's never a guarantee to say that
100.
8 points is
Steve,
going
you
to get
require
you through.
38.
If in doubt, get to 10. And the person who wins this match can still do that.
Game shot on a third
And Hein
leg.
is closer
Steve
than
Hein.
Lonsdale right now with a much better leg there.
Fourth leg, it's Tom to throw first.
2-1 Steve leads. Tom Lonsdale needs to find something here.
140.
Needs to draw something out. I don't know where from. But he needs to draw upon something in the back of the mind
85.
because it just feels like at the moment he's going through the mill, through the motions, and this must be the most horrible place to be as a darts player.
Oh, yeah.
43.
Yeah, I've been there before. You feel lost. You can't think of one positive thing
96.
to do the right thing on the oche. You can't think of a really good grip point that you can focus on. There's nothing mentally that you can cling to.
97.
You need one thing, at least. This is my philosophy. When you're going to the stage or to a competitive hockey, you need one thing that you know is working.
100.
If you've got nothing, you're in trouble. This is why process is so important. This is why Andrew Gilding has carved out this niche for himself.
57.
And he's not the first person to do it. Taylor did it for years. When he approached the hockey, it was with the same amount of steps
81.
every time. Do you think that was an accident?
Tommy require 164.
Of course it wasn't.
Also, may have felt at points he's been
78.
powerless to save the situation, but he could save the
Stevie
situation
require
if he wins this game.
139.
Leaves himself an 8-6 to level up, but he may not even get a go because Steve Hine is going to have a dart at double 11 for the 139 if that went.
Tommy require 86.
I think that would have been one kick in the boot too many for Tom Lonsdale.
Double 8. Biggest start of the match.
70.
And now you
Stevie
go one
require
further up
22.
to see if 3-1. Oh, he's going to split it.
19.
Well, I can confidently say I've never seen that before.
Well, that was a bit of a freak moment. Double 4.
Game shot of
Well,
four
it goes in
flag.
the
Tom
end, and level we
Lonsdale.
are at 2-2. But what happened there?
Did he
Fifth
go
flag,
10
it's
for
Steve
double
to throw
6,
first.
split double 6 and go
Game
for double
on.
3? I'm trying to figure that out because
100.
when he went for double 6, he missed it by about 1.5 inches left. It almost looked like he was going for this. I don't know. This week has got me in knots. Do you know that?
100.
Everything I thought I knew about darts, it's like someone has put me into Narnia.
140.
Our spotter's just pulled his hair out.
60.
And it has been a hair-raising week here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
95.
The only hair you want to raise are the hairs on the back of your neck. Still time for that. And there has been a winner with that triple header in Milton Keynes today.
86.
Congratulations to Josh Rock, who played fabulously in the semi-finals. And many congratulations also to Joe Cullen, who had a confidence-boosting run to the final today, which is
134.
very, very key for his place at the World Grand Prix. Well done, Joe. But Josh Rock with his second title of the year. And the first time he's won 2 titles in a season.
45.
Big day for Josh.
Steve, you require 32.
Double 16 for a 3-2 lead. Up for 8.
24.
He has got time. Because Tom Lonsdale is nowhere to be seen.
This is leg 5. We've seen 27 missed darts at double in this match.
61. Steve, you require 8.
28. 29.
4.
No comment.
Tom, you require 149.
So it'd be ironic if this went.
This would be brilliant.
97. Steve, you require
Now, Steve,
4.
this is big.
Game shot of 5th
It's
flag.
amazing
Steve
how many
Hart.
times world-class dart players can find a double when they need to find it. When they've got space,
6th leg.
say their
It's Tom
opponent's
to
on
throw
250
first. Game on.
and they're on double 16, they'll keep missing and missing and missing. But when they see their opponent is on something like 52,
99.
like Lonsdale just was, then somebody presses the urgency button. Who does that remind you of?
80.
Our friend Mr. Blom. Oh, that'd be a good nickname for him, Mr. Blommy. I spoke with him earlier, and
57.
he said that he caught our interview talking about him yesterday, and he said, "You categorise me perfectly because I am someone who plays better when I'm
100.
under pressure." Well, touche. Well done, Moreno.
And put it this way, on Saturday night, you want to run, you want to hide from the Blom.
177.
Don't know that movie.
100.
And Lonsdale has hit all sorts of different scores in this match. Now he's got a 177.
94.
Is there a way that he can get through this game and break Hein in the last leg to get 2
60.
crucial
Tommy
points?
requires 74.
Well, the thing is, Tom will know that Steve's done nothing himself that should be anything fearful. And so he needs a good couple of minutes.
42.
But the problem is, for as
Steve,
good as
you
his
require
scoring has been at points in this
161.
game, he's doubling, well, it's 2 from 19.
Now, this corner of the board for
85.
Lonsdale has
Tommy
not been
require
good.
32. Game
It
shot on
works
the
this
stick
time. We
flag.
go the
Tom
distance.
Lonsdale.
Forget about the averages. Forget about everything you've seen in this match so far. This might as well just be a one-leg
Seventh and
game.
final leg. It's Steve to
One
throw
leg,
first.
2 points.
Game on.
Let's see who can get it.
60.
It's basically as you were in the table. But here is the magnificent thing. Whoever wins this match,
180.
how good was that, by the way? Second maximum of the match.
140.
And he's also got a 177, let's not forget. But whoever wins this will go into a qualifying spot. Because -5, 4 to bottom
60.
3, all in leg difference. And the winner of this one will go to 4 points with Hendrick. And he's already played. So game on.
43.
And suddenly Tom Lonsdale, who at points has been throwing bags of spanners, may find a bag of gold here. A golden spell which could see him over the line in a
100.
game which has lacked quality for the most part. But I don't know where, I don't know how, but he's managed to draw something out as the game's reached
83.
its culmination point.
Tom, you require 161.
Adrenaline is a wonderful thing. And when it kicks in, you can do very good, very valuable things.
89.
That bullseye. What a shot.
'96.
Bravo. Great dart from
Tommy
Hein.
requires 72.
Both on 2 darters.
One dart in his hand at double 18
shot
for the
and the
match.
Tom
And Tom
Lonsdale.
Lonsdale has taken that from under the nose of the Muffin Man. It was a game which wasn't really a classic. Both players missing a bucket load of doubles. But then when it came to the match-winning double, Lonsdale found first time of asking. He moves on to 4 points. He won't care about the performance. He'll care only for the result. But for Steve Hein, well, tonight could follow the same path as yesterday, where he has missed more than a dozen darts at double in the contest, loses it, and he'd be hoping it doesn't mean that's going to be the beginning of his downfall. Lonsdale 4, Hein 3, Van Dyven Boda against Mitchell. The top 2 coming up next. Welcome back to the live lounge here in Portsmouth. You're watching the Modus Super Series, and you are about to watch Mike van Dijvenbode against Scott Mitchell, and you can answer that age-old question that we've always been wondering. You know, the old medieval tale of the pigeon and the dog. Well, we'll find out what happens when they're in a church and they're jousting it out for their tungsten lives. Mike van Dijvenbode, the 25-year-old from Ridderkerk in the Netherlands, twice Development Tour winner. The Pigeon is hoping to make it through, and he will be through with a win in this game against Scott Mitchell, the 54-year-old from Dorset. First appearance of him tonight. If he wins this game, he's not mathematically through, but it'll take a lot for him to be dislodged from the mix, that's for sure. And so, what wins in the medieval warfare of a pigeon and a dog then, Nico?
Honestly speechless at that question. In medieval times, I tell you what would win between a pigeon and a dog. Henry VIII.
First leg, it's Mike to throw first. Game on.
Off with their heads. It's maybe the strangest question I've ever been asked. And I've been asked some very strange questions in my life.
134.
Which history class did you go to? When you were taught about medieval pigeons and dogs? Anyway, how good was Mitchell last night? Well, he was good.
100.
But we know there's something more to give. Averaged under 85 for the night. It was pretty solid. But
57.
what he would say, if he was sitting in this chair right now with you, he would say, I did what I had to do last night, and I commend that. Because it wasn't the highest of qualities last night. In fact, he was above average
140.
by about a point and a half. All you got to do is make Saturday night right. And he's very close to doing that.
Scott's almost that middle
100.
ground between the old school and the modern day in the respect of he knows what he'd done performance-wise yesterday, but he couldn't care less because he got the results. He knew the doubling was a bit down. He was perfectly correct.
100.
27%. He knew that he didn't average as high as maybe we'd expect him. You'd be right. 84.9 in that particular category yesterday. But sometimes numbers are irrelevant when you've got points on the board and you're picking up wins. And that's exactly what he did. And sometimes games have to be put in isolation. We've learnt that this week with Simon Adams.
$43. Mike,
A
you
chance for
require
the pigeon to take the first leg.
114.
I could stay there. Well, or you could do that.
94. Scott, you require 118.
Maybe if Mitchell was on a double or something like 42, he might have stayed on the 60 to go for double 17. But the shot's on.
98.
Same result as Mike
Mike, you
on
require
that double
20.
top bed.
And so both chased down to double 10. Mike first poke. Up for double 5. He has missed a lot of darts at double tonight. Well, it's been the story
10.
of the night so far.
Scott, you require 20.
I think it's been the story of the week. Now, Mitchell shouldn't miss this.
Game shot on the first leg. Scott Mitchell.
It's almost like we know Mitchell's game. He can move across that hockey about 2 or 3
Second
inches and
leg,
open
it's
up
Scott
that
to
double
throw
10 bed.
first.
And he can use the left portion of
Game
the
on.
flight as his sighting line. He's an incredibly precise player. And he plays right down a central line when scoring.
60.
Look at his arm in his next scoring visit. It's all about placing the dart down an imaginary vertical line. If he stays on that line, he doesn't deviate to the 1 or the 5. And you can employ
100.
that in different parts of the board as well. He has a drill if you want to test something like that for yourself. You get a piece of fishing line, and Scott's got plenty of that. You
80.
tie it to the 0 of the 20, above that 20 bed. You pull it tight, and you tie it to the 3. And your challenge is to break the fishing line with one of your darts. Because when you pierce it with the point,
43.
it'll snap. What it does, because you're going to do it for a while, unless if you get it really early, which is very rare, it trains you to throw down
140.
a central line with your follow-through and your drawback. It's a really good drill.
Free advice from the asset. And Mike Vandover actually played this game a bit of freedom. It's actually a free hit, really, for him, because if he wins, yes, he goes through. But if he loses, he hasn't lost ground on those that are chasing that third spot. It'd only be Mitchell that'd be joining him on 8. And realistically, he's going to go through. He's going to worry more
85.
about Tom Lonsdale and Stefan Hendrick than he is Scott Mitchell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if we can look at the live table as it stands, what is proven with it is the leg difference gap between
100.
himself
You require
and third
136.
position. We'll give you a look at that when we can, which will be in the next leg, because he really does have a great deal of comfort at the top of the table.
60.
It's not just points.
Mike, you require
That leg difference
118.
is such a nice buffer for him.
Well, that was a bit of an offline derby. Haven't seen too many of them, really, from Mike.
40.
He's been able
Scott,
to
you
keep things
require
straight, even if he
76.
has missed 1 or 2 targets. Mitchell 76 for 2-0 to really take command of this game. 8-8. He has
Game shot on
such a
his second leg.
reliability
Scott
when it
Mitchell.
comes to shots like that. 76s, 81s. Because you just expect him to find and
Third
fire.
leg,
and
it's Mike
it's
to throw
those types of
first.
shots that has won
Game on.
Scott Mitchell so much in his career. That's won him Lakeside. That's won him some of the biggest tournaments that the then
60.
BDO had to offer. And is starting to do so again, particularly in the seniors.
Just to prove how comfortable these two are, they're both projected to have 8 points after this match
100.
because Mitchell is 2 ahead. But Mitchell at this point in time is 12 legs ahead of third position. That's just in leg difference.
100.
That is basically another 2 points in the bank. And the tighter this game is, the worse it is for the possibility of Lonsdale, Hendrick and Hine
60.
finding 2 of those 3 going through. And I go back to what I said at the start of the show with you. These 2 are going to go through, and it's going to be one of the other 3.
93.
What was your one-word answer again?
That.
$100.
Mitchell just doing what Mitchell does, average around the mid-80s, a doubling proficient. And Van Dyke has had a little bit of a lapse in this particular fixture.
60.
Finding that range with the type of regularity that we've seen so far this week.
Yeah, Mitchell was the better player in their game yesterday. He had the darts and won 4-3.
85.
But Mike had his moments, including a 130 checkout.
Well, he had a couple, didn't he, in back-to-back legs. He also had the 115 in the leg after.
140.
But Mitchell just
Scott,
held
you
his nerve.
require
That's despite missing 14 darts that
156.
have doubled to 1 out of 4-3 winner. And that was the story of Mitchell's night yesterday. Even though he won 3 matches, 15 from 55 on the doubles.
50. Mike, you require 48.
To get one back. I'm not sure that came out of his hand right.
Game
That
shot
one
on the
did.
third leg. Mike Van Dyvenbode.
The reason I say that is because when we were departing the building last night, we had a small
Fourth
review
leg. It's Scott to throw
with Mike,
first.
and he was saying
Game on.
because of the conditions being so sticky, that was his word, some of the darts he threw came out of his hand a little bit loose. And that's what these players are focusing on tonight, to make sure that their
100.
grip is prime. You'll see Mitchell tonight at times with something in his hand, something he carries in his pocket. something that helps him with grip. And that is legal in
100.
this sport.
Well, we see the famous Matt Clark chalk wax, don't we? That little thing he has in his non-throwing hand. Well, Mitchell was saying yesterday that he really struggled with the conditions as well. In matter of fact, he's changed to a different type of shirt because he was saying in one of the matches that it really was sticking to him, his apparel.
108.
And it was quite off-putting. Well, that would be quite off-putting in all.
I wonder what the best thing would be to wear in these conditions. Some dart shirts that they used to make, they were dreadful
100.
for conditions like this, especially the ones that created a lot of static electricity. They're an absolute nightmare in human conditions. So you got two approaches, and it does depend on your
105.
body chemistry as to what works for you. But if you noticed when Kyle Anderson was with us, he used to wear a T-shirt under his dart shirt, and you think in hot conditions that can't be a benefit. Well, actually, Kyle figured out that if you wear a T-shirt, you sweat into that,
60.
and your dart shirt stays in
Mikey
place.
require
It's
116.
genius.
Well, Mikey is just beginning to find a little bit of something here. He's brought his average up by about 8 points, and he could level this match up at 2 apiece if he finds tops of the 116.
76.
There's
Scott,
been
you
a few
require
times tonight where
141.
he is threatened to double on the back of a combination like that. May not get another go at tops. Mitchell couldn't find the treble 19 on the back of the 141. And so Van Dijvenbode will return for 2-2.
78. Mikey require 40.
This is to get his throwback.
Game shot
Yet
of
again,
flag. Mike
he's
Van
just had a
Dijvenbode.
visit where the first dart didn't land properly and the second one did.
Well,
Fifth
the
flag, it's
conditions
Mike to
here
throw
in the
first.
live lounge are a little bit cooler than
Game on.
they usually have been at times this week, particularly yesterday where it probably was the warmest day we've had here in a long while, particularly since last year. But it's a bit cooler, and then actually all the players have
59.
said before getting underway, and all the players have actually thrown more practice darts in the auditorium than they usually would just to get used to the conditions, and they've all been saying as they've come off and I've passed maybe the odd word or two of them,
121.
they've all said that it's a bit cooler than it has been, and for them there's slightly better conditions to play their best in.
134.
On a Friday night where you can enjoy the darts, whether you're a darts fan, boxing fan, sports fan.
41.
I did actually have a chat with someone earlier today, and I said, you know what, you look at this place, it is rather remarkable. Maybe we could turn it into a convertible,
60.
and we can just air this place out. But the problem is, we are on a main road here in North End of Portsmouth. It'd be a bit of an operation. That would be a new one. Be good for progress for the sport. A
100.
convertible arena. A bit like what they've done with all of the tennis Grand Slam arenas in New York and Paris and Melbourne and Wimbledon.
I'll get you to say that to the bosses and see
100.
whether they'll yes it.
It's not going to happen. Don't you worry about that. But it's just an idea. Because during the summer, darts arenas do get very warm.
30.
And if you are turning up tomorrow
Mikey
night,
require 148.
just beware of that. We will air this place out, and it will be very pleasant. But when there's a few people in here, it will be hot. So if you're coming down, please be aware of that. Plenty of refreshments here. If you're not coming down
58.
and you want to, why don't you come down and join us? You might see Henry, you might see me, catch up with Mitchell. You've already got 3 names in the hat for the Week 9 title.
99. Mikey require 90.
Well, Mitchell at one point looked as if he had the game in the palm of his hands, but Van Dijvenbode has done a great job here of wrestling it in his favour. And if he finds double 15, he'll move 3-2 in front.
60.
But
Scott, you
so
require
far this evening,
110.
he has missed 24 darts at a double, and he may get punished royally. Double 16 for Mitchell. for the 110,
78.
but it's not going to go.
Mike, you
Van
require
Dyvenbode
30.
heading down to the southeast in double 15.
I can't remember a week where double 15's been left as much. However, this time he's not going to go for it. That's an error. It is double 8 after all.
22.
He cost himself
Scott, you require 32.
by missing his single.
We've seen another ebb. Are we going to see another flow? Van
28.
Dyvenbode is going to get another
Mike,
throw
you require 8.
because Mitchell's now spurned a chance to move one away.
The only way that Mitchell thought he was going to be on double 2 is if he split 16s, 8s and
Game
4s.
shot on the 5th leg. Mike Van Dyvenbode.
And Mike finds leg 5 somehow. A litany of errors.
6th leg. It's Scott to throw first. Game on.
It's one of those legs where the player that loses it wonders how and why.
But there's been a lot of that in week 9.
100.
It's a leg away now. Mike Van Dyvenbode from dotting the I's and crossing the T's in terms of tomorrow night's final.
100.
I wonder if they use that phrase in the Netherlands. They've got their own folklore and their own sayings. Not that I can say any of them. That language is very difficult.
Yeah, some sayings more interesting than
41.
others in the Netherlands as well.
Well, as I was saying in the last leg, if you want to be here tomorrow night and you don't have any plans for Saturday night, by all means,
100.
reserve yourself a seat. It's only £2. Dartshop.tv. That is the QR code you need if you've got a smart device at hand. It will take you directly to the booking page. And we'll see you on Saturday night. It starts at 7:30, but you can get yourself here a little bit earlier than that. Doors open at 6:30. And you can stay all night long until we crown the Week 9 champion. And you can see that trophy lifted. And sample what is the most intimate and interesting
93.
darts experience here in the UK.
Fair few have booked their tickets for tomorrow night. Must have realised Scholesey's back. You and Mr. Pars, isn't it, tomorrow evening on comms?
60.
Kind of disappointed. I have actually met Paul Scholes. What a lovely chap. He's a darts fan too. Of course, he's from Manchester.
140.
Huge darting
Scott, you
community up
require
there.
160.
Sure, he's been counting all the permutations on his fingers and toes, but Mike Van Dyvenbode here has got the opportunity to progress his way through to tomorrow night's final on debut. He is 68
40.
points away
Mike,
from
you
rubber
require
stamping it for
68.
good.
Double 4.
Game shot and the match. Mike Van Dyvenbode.
Winner, winner, pigeon dinner. And that's that. The pigeon is in Saturday night with 2 games to spare. Mitchell's still got work to do because he's only 2 points ahead of Lonsdale and 4 points ahead of Hine. So the pigeon, who was the outsider for this group, is starting to do what Mr. Banks did in Group C. A very good performance. 87.5 average, pretty much what he was doing yesterday. And now he will put his feet up before he plays again in the second half. But before we get there, we've got 2 more games before we get to the 50% mark. Lonsdale will take on Mr. Chips next. Big game.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Mike van Dijvenbode confirmed his place through to tomorrow evening's final with a 4-2 success against Scott Mitchell. And we enter our fourth game now of the evening session, and it's a big one for Stefan Hendrick and Tom Lonsdale. Both these players find themselves on 4 points in the group. The victor move on to 6th, level with Mitchell in 2nd position in the table, but more crucially, will find themselves 2 points ahead of their opponent and 4 points ahead of Steve Hine in the table. Well, Van Dijvenbode can just sit back, relax, and cause trouble for everybody else for the remainder of the evening. Whilst for these two, they are now thick in the mix.
First
right
leg, it's Tom
amongst the
to throw
crossfire in
Game
terms
on.
of qualification. And it is Tom Lonsdale who's going to get us underway. Won his match against Steve Hine. He and probably everybody else are scratching
81.
their heads as to how it was a burst towards the end, but he missed 18 darts at a double in that contest and realistically didn't look settled at all.
180.
That's just what Tom wanted to see. Now, to me, it
81.
looks like Tom is struggling with the timing of his release. Every now and again, he gets it right, and you think, this visit's going to be good. But the next start comes
81.
out completely differently. Something he could possibly work on
57.
moving forward, but he's played a lot of darts this week, as has Stefan. And sometimes when you play a lot of darts, you can develop a few bad habits. But before we go
26.
into the dark depths of game number 4, we have on our social media channels tonight announced another player for
39.
our up-and-coming influencer event, our second one for charity. So allow me to give you the full lineup of dart players and influencers who have been
54.
confirmed. Stay tuned to our feeds on Instagram, X, Facebook, and the TikTok account for further announcements as they will come.
Stefan, you require
I'll keep you up to date with that.
160.
But the names I will reel off in the next leg. Let's give these guys a chance to see who takes the
60.
lead. This is better.
130.
Good approach.
Stefan, you require 100.
Is he going to stay on the 60?
60. Tom, you require
He did.
56.
I think it was the right play. Is Lonsdale going to get a
Game start
friend
of
all
first
night
leg,
long with
Tom
double 18?
Lonsdale.
That's the double that won him his first match. It's won him the first leg here. And
Second
when he's
leg,
going
it's
20 for
Stefan
double
to throw
18 or
first.
56, I think
Game
this is
on.
a definitive game plan. So the names are
140.
influencers first. Angry Ginge will be here. Oakelfish.
85.
The Hull Boy. This is FG. Darts for Fun. And announced this evening,
85.
gentleman by the name of Ellis Platten, also known as Away Days. And further to that, yesterday we announced Bradley Brooks as the first
78.
player to be involved in the influencer event. 2 more names for you. John Henderson and Mason Whitlock will also
100.
make another appearance at the influencer event.
Or as you like to call it, Howay days, isn't it?
100.
Tread carefully. Tread very carefully.
100.
I know your birthday's coming up. I might have to buy you a Southampton shirt.
Needed some toilet paper.
108.
Maxi for Lonsdale.
Stefan, you require 76.
Double top.
56.
Chance.
Tom, you require 58.
This is the game that Lonsdale can really find something, but that was only just found that single.
Game shot on a second leg.
And you
Tom
might not see a
Lonsdale.
weirder 58 checkout this week than that. Honestly, Dart 2 was the wrong club.
Third leg, it's Tom to throw first.
He was 120 yards from the
Game
green
on.
and he hit the 3-wood.
However, all of a sudden, when he was stuck in the mire
39.
against Steve Hine, we both looked at one another. We both said that this could potentially be a long even for Tom Lonsdale. Well,
58.
suddenly it could be turning in the other direction because he got over the line against Steve Hine in a game which Steve should have wrapped up. And is 2-0 to the good
81.
here against Stefan Hendrick. And if he wins this one, and particularly if he wins it big, he finds himself in a fantastic position to
118.
make it through.
Think about the times that some players have played
32.
superbly well and not made Saturday. There is an opportunity here for Tom to not play great and still make it. But that has been
29.
a little bit of the key to success this week. Not having to play your best, but different qualities have been coming out from certain players.
21.
Doggedness, resilience, self-belief, all put together. And if you haven't got your best game, you need those
83.
things to still succeed.
A lot of questions about the influence event and the date and
42.
information. That will be confirmed in due course. It's going to be later in the year. I believe ours truly, Jake Kenyon's going to be fronting that
85.
coverage again. Does a sterling job, does our Jake. Even if he likes ribbing me every now and then.
71. Stefan, you require 128.
No shot at bullseye, and Tom Lonsdale is not
36.
out of this leg yet. This is very similar to the Hine game.
45.
Same sort of standard.
Stefan, you require 92.
The difference between the top two and the next three, it's so evident.
76.
So by
Tom, you
virtue of that,
require
this probably goes.
170.
Just to confuse us all. However, it won't.
24.
And then just to further confuse
Stefan,
us,
you
one goes in
require
as the other one
16.
comes out. 2-8 for Hendrick. To half the arrears and to bring it back
Game
to
shot on the
2-1.
third leg. Stefan Hendrick.
And well, we're still none the wiser. And Hendrick's returned this game to throw. The break back means we are
flag.
back
It's
to as we
Stefan to go
started pretty
first.
much.
Game on.
Just out of curiosity, Henry, we obviously do have our influencer
60.
events here for charity, which the first one was extremely successful. Great uptake of viewers on YouTube and people attending. They all had a
133.
great time. But if you were going to have any influencer that you could attend here in Portsmouth, who would you choose?
81.
You're really asking me on the wrong topic here, Nico, I'll be honest with you.
57.
I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. I would have Casey Neistat. Got a lot of followers on
81.
YouTube. Incredibly smart guy who lives in New York. Does a lot of stuff on traveling. Good skateboarder. Very
40.
fit guy. Just does a lot of things about lifestyle. But I think he would really thrive
99.
doing something that takes him out of his comfort zone. And I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? Some of the influencers go up on that stage and they've never played in something like this.
58.
Let's find out what they're made of.
KSI? I mean, realistically, it's probably not
60.
going to happen, but
It'd be something if he did turn up.
to be honest, I'm just reeling off people who I know. It really isn't
97.
my...
Stefan,
I
you
still watch
require
analog TV, for
120.
goodness sake. Still watch the news at 10. I wish I was lying.
60. Tom, you require
Now,
116.
Henry. He's 23, going on 83. Double 18 again.
98.
Old Faithful.
Stefan, you require 60.
Enough about Henry. That double 18 didn't work. Double top for Hendrick.
40.
Let's see what
Tom, you
Lonsdale does
require
now.
18.
Zero hesitation. Double two.
16.
Is it unravelling
Stefan,
for
you
Lonsdale
require
here, as
20.
it did for Hine against him in his first match of the night? But Hendrick is needing a lot of
Game
opportunities
shot of
this
4
evening
flag. Stefan
to
Hendrick.
get legs one. He gets that one over the line. We are level at 2-2. He's needed a lot of misses from his opponents.
5th flag. It's
And
Tom to
Diver
throw
Bodabis
first.
14 and a
Game
double
on.
against him. Admittedly, Mike did win that match. And Tom Lonsdale has missed 6 at a double
57.
in this contest.
I hate to be harsh, but it's Friday night and things are getting tense. Not just on the stage, but in the commentary box as well.
137.
If you want to stop this guy that you're playing, who is from Belgium, from getting to Saturday night, stop giving him chances.
100.
It's happened all week. He's had chances gift-wrapped all week
100.
long. He's had some great moments, played some great darts, but he has been given too many opportunities by his opponents. And if they keep giving
96.
them to him, he is going to go to Saturday at your expense.
Interestingly, in terms of Mr. Chips, we should have a game on our Super Series YouTube channel.
140.
Where we get a picture of Stefan Hendrick, and we have to unlock a load of squares, and we have a little catchphrase scenarios involving that cardboard cutout of Stefan Hendrick on the YouTube channel.
134. Stefan, you require 124.
Okay.
1-2-4 for Hendrick to break the throw. Lonsdale to lead 3-2. Bullseye. No line,
86.
no length, and there
Tom, you
may be no
require
lead if
114.
Lonsdale takes out the 114.
See what he's trying to do here? It's another tactic to try and leave double 18.
98. Stefan, you require 38.
Stefan could go for double 18 if he hits a 2. That plan's out the window.
30.
And leading
Tommy
3-2
requires
might be out the
16.
window as well.
Game shot
is
of
a 3-2
fifth flag,
lead.
Tom Lonsdale.
But can I add 2 more words? But how? We've had 22
Sixth
darts
flag,
at a
it's
double in this
Stefan to
match with
throw
5
first.
hits. It's
Game on.
not diabolical, a word I've used for something good this week,
100.
but it's not great. Hand on heart, Henry.
100.
Are these guys really struggling with the heat? Is that why this is happening?
It's a factor, but I
100.
don't think it's a contributing factor. I just don't think that this pair have settled this week at all. And I think the harder they've tried, the
99.
more all-encompassing it's become.
$140.
I think it's a famous 80s song that goes something like, the harder I try, the further away from me it gets. So, relax.
168. Stefan, you require
Don't do it.
161.
That was a good visit, wasn't it? 168 after a 99 and a ton. This has been a really good 9-dart spurt
59.
from
Tom, you
Lonsdale.
require 134.
Can he leave himself on a double?
58.
Not quite,
Stefan,
but it
you
might be a
require
match-winning chance
102.
if Hendrick can't find this.
To save it, double 16
70.
doesn't go.
Tom, you
And so
require
from here,
76.
Lonsdale should get a match start. Stay straight on 16 or stay straight on the 20. He'll have double 18 to get it done.
58.
But that was
Stefan, you
wild.
require 32.
Wild and not in a good way. Here we go again.
Game shot on the
He's
sixth
just not
flag,
doing
Stefan
anything
Hendrick.
the conventional way. It's almost like he wanted to go 8 double 12.
7th and final leg. It's Tom to throw first. Game on.
Well, nothing is coming easy for this pair. But the rewards for the
96.
victor of this leg could be seismic. They'd open up a 2-point gap upon their opponent in the league table, and there'd only be 4 left to play for. Tom takes on Mike next, and
58.
Stefan takes on Scott. And so it could well come down to the final lap of fixtures that this pair play. And for Lonsdale, he takes on
43.
Scott Mitchell, and Stefan Hendrick will end his night against Steve Hine.
I do wonder
60.
if Tom has earmarked his first 2 games tonight. Because he beat Hine.
40.
Here he's got Hendrick. His final 2 games are against the top 2. Did he say to himself, if I beat
59.
them both, I've got a good chance of getting through? I don't think that's enough. If he's going to get through on 6 points, he's going to need help.
45.
But Hendrick and Hine have got to play each other. One of those guys has got to win that match. And maybe the assist
60.
that Lonsdale will need if he loses to both of the other guys is Hine winning that match and losing everything else.
60.
That's a lot to ask.
$44.
There's only been one big treble in the entirety of this leg. That's how tense it is out there. But that could be a
93.
crucial find for Lonsdale.
Stefan's last score was 44.
So Lonsdale leads himself on 1-2-4. And so we are locked at 3-3. We're at a tense point of this match.
It does look pretty tense, doesn't it? It's like he's at the fish and chip shop and he's saying, I actually ordered the cod and chips, not the haddock. If you're not sure, step away and just make sure you know what you're doing, especially when it's in a last leg decider.
80. Tom, you require 124.
1-2-4 for the match. Triple 18 for the bull. Bullseye for Lonsdale. It's clipped in
74.
and clipped out of the 25.
Stefan, you require 140.
There might be a really big bright side to that. Because now, with it coming out of the 25,
60. Tom,
He
you
can now
require
pick his double.
50.
Double 16 is a double of choice. Now double 8.
Game
Finds
shot,
it.
and the match.
And Tom Lonsdale is 2 wins from 2. He isn't playing at his best, but he's getting results. He's getting over the line. And he moves on to 6 points in the group. He is now 2 clear of Stefan Hendrick in the table. As for Scott Mitchell, well, he can move himself 4 points clear of Stefan with 4 points left to play for. If he gets the better of Steve Hine, that game is coming up live and exclusive after this short break.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
They've both got the talent where they can just reel off leg after leg and dish out a heavy defeat. And what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
But what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree.
Only needs the one.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
Game shot on the third leg. Reece
Is that
Robinson.
the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it.
Game shot.
And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius Labanowski. Game shot.
Well, Smith, is it
Darius
a
Labanowski.
9? A long time. And that clenched fist.
Game shot. On the
Well,
mark.
he gets the job done in the end. He's nodding in total
Game shot on the
agreement
second
because
leg. Game shot on the fourth leg.
Just
Darius
like that.
Labanowski.
only needs the one. And there you can see.
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him. And is. It was a great guide.
Shot on the first leg. Andreas
It's a
Harrison.
breaker throw for Andres Harrison.
Shot on the second leg. Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw. Double 16 is found.
And he does lead.
The fifth leg.
It's not an 11, but it's a beautiful 12. Treble 17 that she gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we're reaching the halfway point of our night session here in Portsmouth, where Scott Mitchell was practicing for his Bullseye Challenge. Well, that was yesterday, Scott. It was an okay attempt. I'll prelude that for the Super Series YouTube channel. Well, before the break, Tom Lonsdale moved on to 6 points in the group. He got the better of Stefan Hendrick in the last leg decider. Lonsdale winning 2 games by a 4-3 scoreline. Hasn't been vintage from him, but it's been enough. And he's in a very good position to make it, well, into Saturday night's final. Scott Mitchell could be as good as through if he can get the better of Steve Hine in this one. He currently finds himself 2 points ahead of Stefan Hendrick in 4th. He'll be 4 points ahead of him if he wins this game, and there'd be just 4 points for the rest of the field left to play for. He wouldn't be mathematically confirmed, but it would be pretty much there, you'd sense. And he is taking on Steve Hine, who has picked up 1 win so far in this group. And in his first game, a bit like yesterday, he let a lot of opportunities pass him by. And that ultimately cost him the game and most probably has cost him his chance of making it through.
100.
Yeah, I don't think Steve's going to be getting through now. Not sure 8 points is going to be enough with a start on -6 leg difference.
60.
I think this is a big game for Mitchell, though. Taking care of Hine is the right thing to do before things get a little bit sticky.
And Hendrick is his next game for Mitchell. So if he loses this one, he could find himself in the mire a little bit.
If we may dispense with the pleasantries just a little bit, there's only one person playing well tonight.
60.
That's Mike van Dijvenbode. Averages of 88.9 and 87.5. Very steady stuff. Everybody else struggling.
121.
Even Lonsdale, who's won twice.
Well, Mike and Tom are the only 2 players who have won this evening.
Well, that's going to change.
85.
Well, Mitch will be counting his blessings that Steve hasn't really
100.
fired up in this first leg either. Both players on big outs after 12. Can he find a way above? Because he will persevere there.
60.
But was unable
Steve,
to do so. Leaving himself on 96. Hine, 143 for the opening leg. Isn't going to go.
93.
When you're not playing your best darts, shots like 143,
96.
you just don't think you're going to take them. You do expect to take 96 most of the time. He still believes it.
80.
He has dragged a few darts left
50.
around that side of the board. Hasn't quite got his sighters in for that. That's another missed single. Oh boy.
24.
I bet he didn't expect to be on double 13 at that visit.
16.
Well, Scotty just geeing himself up. How often do we see that? Shuffles across, he gets closer, but can he find a way above?
8.
Overcompensated.
Stevie required
and he
26.
could find himself behind. Split for double 8, and that time it's found.
Steve Hine.
There's been some craziness when it's come to the checkouts on Steve Hine this week, but that time it worked out, and he breaks the throw of Mitchell.
Steve to throw first. Game on.
He left it late last night, won his last game, and that was all she wrote.
80.
If he wins 3 games from 3, from here on out and gets to 8 points and somehow finds a way through. He would take Moreno Blum's leaving it late and saying, I'll raise you one.
123.
Leaving it later than a university student leaves writing their dissertation.
108.
Know from experience.
Wouldn't know. Didn't go to university. Didn't need to.
Well, it saw us both in the same place.
100.
My point exactly.
Well, Scott Mitchell in his second game yesterday had a real off match against Stefan Hendrick, and it looks like the same thing's happening here against Steve.
100.
This is what he was
Stevie
doing
require
yesterday. Lots of
141.
one treble visits. Don't get two trebles here.
109.
From the Muffin Man. But positive signs. Double 16 after 12. Things are getting very, very sketchy for Mitchell. If I were the Farmy
60.
Army over in
Stevie
Dorset,
require
I'd start
32.
to chew on the old fingernails a bit.
Because
Game
Scotty
shot on
Dog
the
may
second
well be
leg,
beginning
Steve
to chase his tail a little bit. When he's chasing this match for short, he's 2-0 down to Steve Hine, who
Third
is
leg,
playing
it's
much
Scott to
better
go
than what he did in
first.
his opening match.
Game on.
What does Lonsdale want to happen in this game, I wonder? I think that's a really interesting question.
81.
Lonsdale sits in third position. If Mitchell is pegged back
99.
to 6 points after 75% of the play in this group, Lonsdale can still get his way into second position. But he would be looking over his shoulder at two players just behind him.
100.
This week is the epitome of sport cannot be scripted.
45.
I could have spent 1,000,000 hours trying to script this week, and I would never have thought this up.
I don't know why anybody would script live sport.
60.
They can try.
Some do. And fail miserably.
134.
Advantage Hine again. Half dart lead. After 9 darts thrown, Mitchell's got to get a hold of this game quickly. His run in is Hendrick and Lonsdale.
60.
It's just not happening. There's a gap of about 9 points in the average. The superior being to the person in
99.
front. And Hine has not been in that position much over the last night and a half.
Well, this is probably as good as we've seen him over the last night and a half, if the truth be told.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Best average yesterday came in his last match, 87.06 against Lonsdale. This is a little bit better than that.
81. Stevie require 124.
Well, 124 points away from a 3-0 lead, and he's going to get a poke. Well, he should get a poke underneath the bullseye.
99.
Well, he could go anyway
Scott,
for
you require
25 if he comes back.
119.
We haven't seen a Tub Plus checkout this evening. Scott Mitchell needs one here, you feel. Triple 20 tops. Tops for the 119.
99.
How big a miss could that
Stevie
be for the
require
former world champ?
25.
Oh, here we go. He said he was going to go a different route. That's 7 left.
21.
How many times
Scott,
has
you
that happened?
require 20.
You just cannot make it up. But it's given Mitchell a potential route back into this match. But he has to find double 5.
Game shot on
Gets
the
it
third leg.
and back in
Scott
this game at
Mitchell.
2-1. Has to find a way to Scott. any which
Full
way.
flag. It's Steve to throw first. Game on.
But I just wonder whether, as an opponent, when you're seeing what's happening with Steve Hine, all the madness that's going around on the doubles, if you're a player that watches what your opponent does, can that send your mind into a haze if you're not careful?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
100.
Have you never seen my famous 58 checkout from 6 years ago?
100.
Gezi Price and I laughed about it for about 30 minutes after our match. You've never seen it?
No, no.
58 left, Gibraltar, 2018. Single 4 leaves what? 54.
Yes.
Then I hit double 9,
125.
double 18. When it's hot, you're under pressure, and there's a lot on the line, strange things can
100.
happen.
That was a good weekend for yourself, wasn't it, in Gibraltar?
That was the last time I won on the European Tour. Long time ago.
And luckily for you, because it was in Gibraltar, there was a big crowd to watch it.
All right.
100.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell Steve West you said that because he made the semis as well.
100.
And I'll tell Adrian on you because he's the one who beat me. And if that doesn't work, I'll just tell Michael van Gerwen because he won the tournament.
136.
Well, Mitchell, after
Steve, you
winning
require
that
156.
last leg, has left himself tops after 12 for the break, and he is going to get a go at it to square this contest up at 2 apiece.
Let's just remember as well how a game of darts can change so quickly.
54.
We were looking at Hine going
Scott, you
3-0 up
require 40.
with 25 points. He hits that. We do not have this situation right here. Oh, not again.
35.
Welcome
Steve,
to
you
week
require
9, the week of
102.
going next door.
82 left. Perseveres. Double 11. Does
80.
not go. And Scott Mitchell's
Scott, you
heart would have been in his
require
mouth right
5.
now.
That was a really good try from Steve Hine. You might not think so, but that is a really good dart. Those single ones,
Game
and those
of
double
full flag.
twos,
Scott Mitchell.
just as valuable as ton plus checkouts. Not that we know, we haven't had one tonight yet. But
Fifth
Hine will
flag.
be
It's
thinking,
Scott to throw first.
this is hard work. He's had a chance in every leg.
Game on.
He could have won this match 4-0.
Well, the biggest shame about Scott Mitchell hitting that is we don't know what Steve Hine would have done on 22 again. The old 10.
I
double six.
swear if you bring up Taylor Swift, there's
55.
going to be problems. Don't do it.
108.
There's a 180 from Steve Hine. The
80.
perfect time to change the subject and to get us into the nitty-gritty of this match.
Well, Mitchell knew he'd be in trouble at the beginning of this game if there was a defeat. It'd be a cruel end
100.
to his darting summer.
And I'm off.
66.
Well, someone's going to be sent packing in around about 90 minutes.
There is still 2 blank spaces as far as tomorrow night's final is concerned. But who's going to
100.
write their name into Week 9's final? Mitchell loses this. He's going to have to shake it off quite quickly
100.
because he's got Stefan Hendrick in a couple of matches' time. Tom Lonsdale has Mike van Dijvenbode in the middle of that. It feels like a
26.
perfect night for there to be
Steve, you
darting
require
drama.
155.
That's every night when you come here.
83.
He really has got me confused the last couple of days, Steve. Some of his approaches and his methodology. For someone who's been around a long time, it's like he's trying to figure this game out for the first time.
40. Stevie
Or
requires
he's trying to
72.
figure out a new way of doing it. Double 16.
Game
That's how you do it.
Steve Hine.
He's had a darter double in every leg.
Sixth leg. It's
And he
Steve
can
to throw
still win
first.
this game by 4 legs to
Game
2 or
on.
4 legs to 3. But if he's not careful, Mitchell has the capabilities of possibly
55.
nicking the last 2 legs. If he doesn't, Mitchell will be talked about by us at the half-time break very differently to the way we spoke about him earlier. It'll be with caution.
100. $99.
And suddenly, Scotty Dog could be sent to the kennel, and that's not a pleasant place to be.
There's some dogs like the kennel. They're quite fancy these days, aren't they?
I'll be honest, I've never slept in one, Nico.
100.
Should have seen that coming, really.
140.
He's got a degree of calmness now, has Hine, that he didn't have last night. And based on how he played against Tom Lonsdale in Game 2, he has found it probably in the last 30 to 40 minutes,
60.
somehow.
Sometimes the best way to find your best game is to
93.
play with freedom, and Steve Hine probably thinks his chances are over, and as a consequence of it, he's played with the shackles off, and he's played his best darts of the week as a consequence.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, he's not out of this at all. Because a 4-2 win,
100. Stevie require 114.
it puts him ahead of Hendrick in the table, and it puts him really close to Lonsdale.
42.
And
Scotty
actually
require
not that far from Mitchell as well.
141.
Well, that might well be the last 3 darts that Scott Mitchell throws in this match, because Steve Hine's going to come back
59.
for
Stevie
72
requires 72.
to cross the finishing line 4-2. And he's going to keep himself in the mix. Double 12 and now double 6. Gets
Game
Steve
shot,
Hine
and the
over the
match,
line, and there's
Steve
still
Hine.
life in the Muffin Man yet. As for Scotty Dog, well, he may well be beginning to chase his tail. He's still in second place, but he hasn't picked any points up yet. And he has seen Tom Lonsdale draw level on 6, and Steve Hine and Stefan Hendrick just a couple behind him. He is precariously lurking over his shoulder. The only man we know that is through is Mike van Dyvenbode. He's going to be in action after the break against Tom Lonsdale. But before we do that, me and Paul Nicholson, we're going on a road trip.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Game shot out of the match. Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
if he seems to be out. That's what he is. Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosch.
Pie Face is through. He gets
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Very warm welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we're halfway through the evening's action on this Friday night. Myself and Paul Nicholson have been watching every single dart in the commentary box, and this is what we have seen. 2 victories so far for Mike Van Dyven. Modus confirmed his place through. 2 wins for Tom Lonsdale's put himself in a good suit. But before the break, a win for Steve Hine against Scott Mitchell's gets himself in the mix and has put Scotty Dog in a little bit of peril. The asset has been watching every single dart in the commentary box. Only one place to start. Only fair to talk about Mike first. Played 2 of the first 3, won each of them, and comfortably through.
He's just playing better than everybody else. I know that's really simplistic, but he is. High 80s averages, very tidy stuff. You know that he can play better than that, but he doesn't have to. He's through. He's got so much freedom now to go out there with his 2 remaining games and try and suss out what he needs to do to get a little bit better, to be a threat on Saturday night. As for everybody else, they're in so much trouble.
They really are. Let's talk about Scott Mitchell then, first of all, because he began tonight on 6 points. He stayed on 6 points. What's gone wrong tonight compared to yesterday?
Just hasn't had anything going. You get these days as a dart player where things just don't feel good. Now, we don't have the insight. We can't walk into the practice room and ask Scott what's going on. We can just speculate. But nothing's happened tonight in a positive sense. He's almost clutching at straws to try and figure out what he can do to somehow get through. It's a horrible place to be in this format if you haven't got anything positive going, and he's not the only one.
I feel like it's a question we've asked a lot this week about players, how and why they've done it. And for Tom Lonsdale this evening, he's been nowhere near his best, but he's found 2 victories in there.
He will wonder why things have been going the way they were, because at times this week he's played some great stuff. He averaged over 90 on Monday, but that seems like a long-distant memory. But at the minute, we're talking about someone who's averaging 72 for the night, but he's won twice. Darts is a curious game, isn't it? You can lose with a 99, which is something that Thomas Banks has done this week. It's actually still the biggest average of the week. And then you've got someone winning 2 games with, 27 points less than that? You've just got to play the conditions, you've got to play the player, and just do more than they have. And so far, Tom has done that.
Well, let's have a look at the table then at the halfway point of the evening session, because Steve Hine and Stefan Hendrick are both on 4 points, only a couple off of Tom Lonsdale and Scott Mitchell in 3rd and 2nd place, respectively. Just quickly, an overall assessment of both of their nights so far.
Well, I think Mitchell, Lonsdale, Hine and Hendrick, we can put them all into one group and say that Van Dyvenboard is in a class of his own. It's as simple as that. We've got enough of a sample size now. 75% of the games have been done. So we know that he's in a class of his own. The rest of them, they're all in the same playground, having the same problems. Inconsistency is rife. It's just a question of who's going to get enough shots in. It's a battle royale between all 4 of them. I'm not really sure who's going to get the points.
Well, it's going to be an interesting race to the line as far as Group B is concerned. But next week, we have got an intriguing lineup, and we're going to see a Barstow in action. Chaz Barso is going to be a part of a blockbuster week. He's going to be in Group B. Group A sees Bradley Brooks in action. Conan Whitehead, of course, the former champion, returning. And Stefan Bellman, who's had a really good year on the Challenge Tour. Joe Croft, who could well be here for the Global Championship in December as well. Let's talk about Bradley Brooks and talk about the year that he's had since dropping off the Pro Tour, because he could have been one of those players that could have drifted in the wrong direction, but whatever happened towards the end of his Pro Tour stint, he looks like he's got it right now.
At the minute, yes. I think he's utilised things like the ADC very well, which a lot of people coming off the tour or people who don't have tour cards with a reputation, they've used it really well. And he's spoken with us in this studio about how that's been key for him to get the amount of hours that he needs to be sharp. Bradley, when he comes here, he now has enough experience. He's had a couple of visits where he will think, I can go back there and find my best stuff towards the end of a week to contend once again. There are many names in next week who can potentially succeed. One of them being Chaz Barstow. He was here in the Series 1 Champions Week, and he has always been a threat. He's an England international, and I like the fact that we've highlighted him because I'm such a huge fan of his. I think his game is made for this place. But there are so many names for next week who could succeed. But Bradley Brooks is definitely towards the top of the tree.
Is he one of them, Chaz, that may well think, I could have done more in this building?
Yeah, I think so. Because the automatic reaction when this is brought up for Chaz is, I was brilliant in the previous studio. It was one of the premier players. His win percentage was sick. It really was. It was fantastic. But coming here, it's a very different place. A lot more spacious. The technology around is way more evident. The room is about 10 times as big. But yes, he has had success in this building, but maybe not as much as the previous one. But he has another chance.
Of course, former series champion in that previous setup. And we're going to watch him in action from 9:30 on Monday morning. He's going to be part of the Group B later on in this week, where we see Bradley Brooks bright and early on Monday in Group A. Right, let's get into the second half of the session, shall we? It's going to be an intriguing race towards the line. So seconds out, on your marks, set, go!
Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison. We're not going to need that.
Bosch.
Time makes it through.
It's a fun place to be, the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It's an iconic darting building. It's most certainly become that over the last couple of years. And you can reserve your ticket, book your ticket for a Saturday night by heading to dartshop.tv each and every single week. 50 weeks a year here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Some special events to put into your diary. Saturday the 31st of August is the Champions Week finals night. Tickets are going very, very quickly for that. It is a hotly anticipated occasion. A week after that, we'll have the second edition of our Double Trouble tournament, and tickets will be available for that if you head over to www.dartshop.tv. Tickets for the Super Series are available for the next couple of months. So if you do fancy a Saturday night on the South Coast where you want to come and watch the Super Series, be in the building, be in the venue, and maybe see a new star of the sport emerge, then www.dartshop.tv, the place to be. I'll tell you what, let's get the QR code up. So if you do fancy a midnight shop, well, take a look at that. That's the QR code, and you can be here.
60.
But this is a huge game for Tom Lonsdale, isn't it?
42.
Yeah, this one and his next one. If he wins one of them, he's in a very good position.
56.
I think that's how he's approaching it, you know. It'll almost feel like he's in a group on a Saturday night. Where if he wins one of them, he's going to be really close to making the next step. But tread carefully, Tom. That leg difference that you've got at -3.
100.
Right now, it's precious. But do yourself a favour. Dig deep.
58.
His
Mike,
averages
you
so
require
far tonight.
170.
72 and 73.
$96.
What is it that influencer champion says? Is it easy now? Well, tonight anything's been but easy now.
59. Mike, you require 74.
So Van Dijvenbode 74 to take out the opening leg. He's going to get a dart at top to do so.
Game
In
shot
it
on the
goes. Van
first leg,
Dijvenbode
Mike
leads.
Van Dijvenbode.
And you just get the sense that in this contest, the efficiency of Mike may just be too much
Second
for
leg,
the
it's Tom to throw
erraticness that perhaps at times we've seen from Tom.
He's just so much better than everybody else in this group.
45.
Think about some of the groups that we've seen over the last couple of years on Thursdays and Friday nights. If you're averaging 87.5, we always say that that will
100.
contend. Right now in this group, it dominates.
100.
And everybody else is struggling. I think it's about time that people started taking Mike Van
60.
Dijvenbode a little bit more seriously. And this is just the start.
Well, we didn't know what we were going to expect from Mike, but what we
100.
have got is a very good level. I think when I'm in my blazer tomorrow night and I ask you the question, who's going to win? I don't think you will know, will you, with full conviction, the answer to that question.
95.
Nope, not at all. Need more information.
100.
And that information might come just a little too late, because what we tend to do on Saturday nights is have an interview with the player just before Toe the Oki. And that's after we do our
76.
pre-show.
Tom, you require 156.
So this is going to be a really tough call come 7:30 on Saturday night.
45. Mike, you require 170.
What's to say that it's not going to be the Pigeons week?
Do pigeons like fish?
82. Tom, you require 111.
I don't know. I'm not really sure how they got a taste for bread, by the way.
75. Mike, you require
Not that they
88.
can make it. 2-0. If 88's found, 2 snowmen. Does a pigeon like snowmen?
63.
Not
Tom, you
enough.
require 36.
So Lonsdale to level up again. He's averaging low 70s. But he could be leveling this contest. But that
32.
a low dart. We've seen a few of them from him this
Deck
evening.
no
We've seen
score.
a few of them from a
Mike,
lot
you
of
require
players
25.
this evening. So Van Dijvenbode for 2-0 on the break.
No score.
He's done the Hogan.
Tom, you require
2
36.
consecutive bust shots.
Game shot on his second leg. Tom Lonsdale.
More busts than hedgehogs in a balloon factory.
Third leg. It's Mike
And
to throw
somehow
first.
Lonsdale has
Game
found
on.
himself level.
$60.
This has been a session and this has been a night which has boggled the brain.
97.
What's worrying is that the standard has been down on the norm. But there are going to be 2 players joining Mike Van Dijvenbode on Saturday night
108.
who will be happy to be there, but they will be confused as to how to proceed.
120.
And if you think about the level of play we got from Conor Heenan, he said he didn't play very well at all to win Group A. In fact, if you were to ask me right now
130.
who's the favourite for Saturday night, I'd have to say Thomas Banks.
He's playing the best darts. He is playing the best darts of anyone.
85.
And
Mikey
before this
require
session got underway, he
131.
was still only 13-2 with the odds compilers. They've been bitten once. They could get bitten again.
91.
Don't get me started on the odds this week. They got Heenahan right in Group A. I'll give them credit for that. But as for Group C and Group B,
141. Mikey require
drastically
40.
wrong.
Tots are Mike for 2-1.
Game shot on the
13
third
darts.
leg.
Van
Mike Van
Dijvenbode gets his nose back in front again. Well, this is what the bookmakers said in terms of tomorrow night
Fourth
before
leg.
dart
It's
was
Tom to throw
thrown.
first.
They had
Game on.
Heenahan and Mitchell, both joint favourites at 13-5. Mike Van Dijvenbode second
58.
favourite at 11-2. They both fancied both Banks and Blom at 13-2 to go on and win tomorrow. They had Hendrick at 9-1, Hine at 14-1, and
60.
Lonsdale the 18-1 outside shot.
I can almost understand why they've got Mitchell
31.
as joint favourite. Because at the start of the night, it looked almost academic that he was going to make his way through. That at the minute looks undecided.
100.
Let's put it that way. Better. Much better.
108.
Much better.
80.
Timed release on every single shot there. Probably the best visit,
99.
technique-wise, that he's had over the last couple of nights. Now, the key to what he does next is, what did I do right in that visit? And now I
47.
just do it again. But the problem is, when you're finding that maximum and you don't know what you've done, that's when the next visit is 47.
96.
How good is the setup turn? It's very good. Tom Foy
140.
leaves himself on a single
Mikey
to
require
double.
146.
Forces Van Dijvenbode to take out the 146. It's been a much better leg this from Tom Lonsdale. He's keeping himself competitive.
50.
And he should,
Tommy
providing he
require
hits a single.
45.
That's not been a guarantee all night. He will make it to a piece. Double 18. He's doing anything now to leave it.
27.
But even
Mikey
that
require 96.
is going amiss for him.
Could be that same double for Mike. And it is.
78. Tom, you require 18.
Didn't even think about it this time. Wow, it's only 111 left.
16.
Ask
Mikey
yourself, how many
require
times have you
18.
seen someone go 15-111 for 18? That's a first for me.
Double 4 for Mike.
14.
And now he's missed an
Tommy
opportunity
required
to move
2.
3-1 to the good.
No
But
score.
Lonsdale dragged low.
Mikey
that's the
require
problem.
4.
When you're unsure about what's going on, double 1 is the stuff of nightmares.
You don't want the number 2, you want the double 2, Mike.
2.
Yikes.
Tom,
Here
you
we go. We've
require
all been
2.
here before, haven't we? Both stuck on double 1.
Game
Not
shot on
for
a
long.
full flag. Tom Lonsdale.
We have a Desmond game.
I'm going to ask the question again.
Fifth flag. It's Mike to throw
How?
first. Game on.
I'm supposed to know the answer. That's my job.
96.
Honestly, if I was a chocolate bar right now, I'd be a curly whirly.
125.
I'm all over the place with this week.
Well, a win here would be a timely boost for
58.
Tom Lonsdale. But who's going to win the marathon
100.
tomorrow night?
You're not old enough for a marathon.
Well, marathons turned into Snickers in the United Kingdom and Europe in 1990. And the reason was it was a marketing campaign for the
43.
Italian World Cup, which took place that year. So if you see the advertising boards at Italia 90, they read Snickers. And it was at that point did they turn from marathon to
78.
Snickers. It was an advertising campaign for the 1990 FIFA World Cup.
Sorry, could you repeat that? I stopped listening halfway through. Not even going to ask how you know that.
60.
Must have been part of that degree you did.
I actually learned it on a coach journey to Bath.
78.
You need a coach to get to the bath. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? This is not harsh.
140.
Very good, though.
Tom, you require 120.
What a lie for the 60. But that's the problem when you're not playing your best darts.
60.
You can have the most
you require
dreamy of
104.
lies like that, and you still can't use them.
$88. Tom, you require 60.
Tots are 3-2 Lonsdale. Double 10. Big dart. Cannot find.
40.
Nudges close to the
Mike,
wire,
you
but
require
cannot find a way in.
16.
He might not get a better opportunity to take the lead than that.
Game shot on the fifth leg. Mike Van Dyke.
Hate to say I told you so. He might not get another dart to double in this match. If Mike's got anything to
Sixth
do with
leg. It's Tom to throw first. Game on.
If I were in Tom's shoes right now, I would desperately try and keep this match alive.
57.
The worst result he really wants is 4-3 defeat.
Van Dyvenbode will win the group if he wins this game.
97.
He's a leg away from having the financial bonus and then the advantage of winning Group B. It would mean that
65.
Mike would take on Thomas Banks. So actually, is winning the Group B a potential advantage or not?
I don't think so.
100.
Having said that, there is a school of thought that if you were to get the form horse in your
44.
group on a Saturday night, you have it in your power to get rid of them instead of relying on someone else to do it.
There is a possibility here where perhaps the
134.
free form horses could all be in the same section of the draw on Saturday night. Because if Mike wins this group and Scott Mitchell finishes third alongside Thomas Banks,
135.
you're losing a
Mike, you
potential winner
require
of that, there's no doubt.
170.
Oh, that's a good recovery.
77.
That's not a bad visit at all.
$95.
That's pretty good too.
Mike, you require 93.
It's either over or maybe just beginning. 18. Or that leaves double 7.
86. Tom, you require 105.
Can he find 86 more? He can't.
57.
So after one match start at double
Mike, you
7,
require
it's
7.
another small number checkout for Mike to go to 12 points.
To continue his domination and to win the group.
3.
But he cannot convert.
Tom, you require 48.
And Lonsdale will come back to take us all the way. He's played every single leg possible this evening. And he's
Game
going to
shot on the
take us
sixth
to a
leg.
last leg
Tom
again.
Lonsdale.
And what a find that double 8 was when he considered the lie of dart 2.
7th and final leg.
He's
It's
still
Mike to
averaging
throw
72
first.
for the night.
Game on.
In his own mind right now, he's probably thinking, how is this possible? There's probably been times where Tom Lonsdale has played darts in the dark and played better than this.
108.
But he needs to open his eyes and try to find some sort of breakthrough in the last leg.
77.
If he makes it through to Saturday night, I am so eager to hear from Tom because of his journey this week, which has been arduous to say the least. Because at the minute, he's trying to win a Grand Prix in a mini.
78.
Well, it's the equivalent of having a pit stop at the end of Group A, but he's come back out the pit lane and back
45.
out on track, and he's only got 3 wheels. He's slowly but surely manoeuvring his way to the line.
108.
Oh, somebody's found the accelerator. And this might be just about to end.
59.
Mike's
Mikey
obviously had enough of this
63.
game.
Going through the gears. But now
51.
the match start count completely racks up.
Well, if Tom Lonsdale was to win this game from this position,
134.
He's a witch
Mikey
doctor.
required 12.
Double six.
Six.
And still it goes on. And still the drama goes on. Lonsdale's kept
86.
himself
Mikey requires
handy enough.
6.
He's left himself on a ton. Can Mike Van Dyvenbode finally cross the line? One for double one.
4.
And still it's not done.
Tom, you require
This can't
100.
happen. this cannot happen. What's going on?
It's tops.
Well, this is no
40.
gimme, is it?
Mikey required 2.
To finally cross the line. Surely now. Surely
No
not.
score.
Surely
Tommy
not.
requires 60.
What on earth? Double top to win this match. That is
Big shot. And the
outrageous.
match, Tom Lonsdale.
How on earth has he won that leg? He may never ever know how he's won that match. He will never forget that win. Somehow Tom Lonsdale has got himself off the basement and now he's almost in the penthouse. He's 2 points behind Mike Van Dyvenbode in the table. And if you can make sense of that game, you know more about the sport than I do. Let's take a break, and when we come back, it's Mitchell against Stefan.
Next year, when that decision needs to be made, he's going to be 49. 1 year shy of the age of the seniors.
A very viable option. Two players who are around that age. Well, what did he say about the 9?
Will we get the 141? Will the promise come true? Double 12.
Shot. And the match,
Steve
West
West has won the match with a 9-dart.
Harrison has kicked off the last leg in perfect style.
It's everything, really. Oh, he's timing this well again.
180.
With a 9-darter. Treble 19. Treble 15 leaves double 18. Franchise Harrison to win the game in perfect style.
Hauled himself out of it.
Yeah, it was something that Henry actually said in jest that I was quoted as saying Jared Cole is one of the most, sounds a bit fishy. Glenn, do you know my grandpa Mark Salmon?
Do you? So on a 177 and a 180, he's on a potential 9-darter.
Come on, Jared. Yes, you beauty!
Nice and high, and has now got the game back into his
100.
own destination, and wow, the momentum is with him. Here we go.
108.
I wouldn't have said it. Don't jinx it. Yes. Yes! Double 12! Yes! Get in there, Lee Cox!
Well, I think it's fair to say that the blue touch paper has been well and truly lit.
108.
6th max of the match. Oh, hang about. Hang about. It's getting ridiculous now. Can Tommy Leishman give us back-to-back 9-darters in back-to-back games? He could, you know. He could, you know. Goodness gracious me!
Tommy Leishman.
Back-to-back 9-darters!
Welcome back to the Twilight Zone. Because we can't make sense of what's happening tonight. And I'm sure the players are in a bit of a tiz as well. Tom Lonsdale, who played better last night than he has tonight, and has found 3 wins from 3 matches and now is on 8 points and has put Scott Mitchell into 3rd. He hasn't won, and Hendrick, well, he hasn't won either. So someone's got to win this one. Either Hendrick's going to go to 6 points or Mitchell's going to go to 8. But even a 4-0 victory for Mitchell in this match will not guarantee his participation in Saturday. Trying to make sense of this night is like trying to work out algebra with straws. Just doesn't happen. So stay tuned.
First leg.
We've
Scott's
got no
first.
idea what's going to happen next.
Game on.
And that's kind of exciting. So off you go.
Well, it's Scotty Dog against Mr. Chips, and this chip off the old block is hoping that he can
45.
use his old tricks to his advantage here, but he is in Pebble. Regardless of the result, Mitchell can't go through in this game, but if he wins
60.
this match, he'll be in a very good position. Hendrick and Hine will play the last game of the night. Hine plays Van Dyvenbode next, and then Mitchell takes on Lonsdale in match 9. And Lonsdale probably have his 72 and win.
108.
But the urgency for Mitchell has to be here and now.
Based on the way that Lonsdale's playing, you don't want to play him in the minute.
100.
Because he could probably turn up with 3 flights, 2 points, 1 stem and still win.
You could probably turn up with bookies' pens and still win that game.
140.
But this is better for Mitchell. He has had a bit of a break. That last game went long, and after the game against Steve Hine, we had a break in the studio. So he's had a little bit of time to
93.
rectify what has
Scotty
happened
require
over the course of the
136.
evening. He's got off to a bright start. What he'd give to smack one in the middle of them two.
60.
He's unable to do so, but he's still in a promising position in this first leg.
You know what? Scott Mitchell is one of the most patient people on this planet. But even his patience is being tested here tonight.
140. Scott, you require 76.
And that's the whole thing about patience. Even the Dalai Lama would say that patience has to run out at some point.
36. Stefan, you require 108.
Hendrick needs double 16.
92. Scott, you require
It's been pretty hard
40.
to keep up with tonight. He's been a bit like a dance move. Quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, quick.
Game shot on the
No
first
more missed starts
leg.
at double. He
Scott
wasn't even
Mitchell.
sure it was in. I assure you it is.
Second leg. It's Stefan to throw first. Game on.
Well, as we approach around about 12:30 on this Friday night going into Saturday morning, we've still got 3.5 games to go. And the drama has only just begun. Strap yourselves in because we are going to be in for some late night madness here at the Super Series.
100. $81.
If Mitchell can average for this match what he's got right now, which is 90.15,
81.
I think he wins this game. Is that fair to say? His best average last night was 90.25.
140.
But how often have we spoken about Scotty Dog and said that his best performance in a campaign has been somewhere like 98, 99? That game doesn't seem to have turned up this week. Not yet.
123. Stefan, you require
I
140.
guarantee you one thing. The family of Scott Mitchell right now, they're surviving on a diet of fingernails because they're not entirely sure that Scott's going to be here
41.
come Around 20 hours time. He's still got work to do.
This is not the routine parade that they perhaps would have thought was going to be the case at the beginning of the evening.
I wonder if the danger man is the muffin man.
39.
Time will tell.
Scott, you require 97.
Well, do yourself a favour, Scott. Forget about the chips. And bag tops.
Game shot at second
Yeah, that's
leg,
more like
Scott
it.
Mitchell.
Now, that's the second time he's done that. I just wonder if
Third leg,
his
it's
eyes
Scott
are a
to
little
throw
tired.
first.
And he's
Game
just
on.
not seeing the darts in the board like he usually does. .97 for a 2-0 lead. That's more like it.
100.
I think you're right. I think that break between his previous game and Game 5 and now, he's used the time very, very wisely.
59.
Because Mitchell's got that shift that every player in a Group B has to have at some point, where you're on, off, on, off. And he never had time really to recover from Game 1 against Mike Van Dijvenbode. And I think elements of that creeped into his game against Steve Hine.
140.
But now he's had that break. He looks a different man. Well, he's averaging now in excess of a ton, where earlier on this evening he was struggling to straggle above the 80 mark.
100.
That's more like it. And he's in a really good position in this third leg as well.
$108.
Welcome back, Scott. With a vengeance. Everything is starting to click.
80.
And he's getting lucky.
Scott, you require 81.
They say you'd rather be lucky than good, but how about being good and lucky? Just meander your way. Another one of those will be fine.
49.
That's more than good enough.
If he wins this leg in 13 and he has a decent leg in the next, he could well break his highest ever
41.
recorded average, which
Scott, you
is
require 32.
107.78.
Is he moving?
16.
The chains aren't moving. Well, Hendrick is just not getting
26.
anything going here.
Scott, you require 16.
This is his 22nd game of the week. And he's starting to show
Yeah,
the
he's
signs
on
of
the third
tiredness,
leg.
and he might
Scott
have to
Mitchell.
tap soon. Because Mitchell at 3-0, he looks impervious. He has
Fourth leg, it's
restricted
Stefan
Hendrick
to
to
throw
one dot a
first.
double in this
Game on.
match.
Well, Mitchell's been merciless. He's given nothing to Stefan.
140.
If he's going to find a route back into this match, and you think most likely a route back into towards his qualification campaign, he's going to have to reel off 4 on the spin. However, we did see a couple of 3-0 scorelines get reversed this afternoon in Group C,
140.
but the difference is the way Scott Mitchell is playing, it looks very unlikely that a league's going to be relinquished unless Hendrick finds a Jamie Atkins type spurt.
100.
Yeah, we averaged 107 over 4 legs to come back from 3-0 behind to beat Thomas Banks 4-3.
I know he said that Mitchell winning 4-0 doesn't mathematically put him into Saturday night,
60.
but I feel almost nervous saying this. I think it will get him very close to it.
140.
Every time we say something this week, it feels like we're going to get bitten for it. I'm treading carefully, because all of a sudden, Stefan Hendrick's playing some decent darts here.
100.
Because the
Stefan,
second you think
require
a pattern is emerging,
121.
very quickly does it break like a chain. Doesn't have to go bullseye, and we'll set up
81.
for tops. Although for Mitchell, this is a leg against throw, so effectively this was a free hit for him. And he's going to pass some pressure on Hendrick here. And everything for the
82.
Belgian could be
Stefan,
relied
you require 40.
on keeping things honest in this match.
Game shot of 4 flag, Stefan Hendrick.
Well, why not? Why can't Stefan win the next 3 legs?
5th flag, it's Scott to throw first.
He's been in this position already this week.
Game on.
And on Friday, we saw Scott Campbell 3-0 up and cruising. Next thing you know, he missed 12 match darts and lost.
That was a much improved leg that from Hendrick. 14 darter
60.
for him. And Mitchell's kicked off dry. This is the leg, and he knows it's a leg. Stefan knows it's a leg. We all know it's the leg for him. This is the one where he has the darts in, where he can
60.
get the job done, and he can pretty much put himself there. But that's a twofold pressure. That's a pressure on Scott to deliver. But for Stefan, it's a pressure to keep him on the toes of his opponent.
100.
But if Stefan can keep himself hot on the heels of Scotty Dog.
And one thing we do know,
140.
a Mitchell winning this match and Hendrick is gone. With 1 match left, all he can do is get to 6 points. It was looking pretty rosy last night, wasn't it? With a 50% hit rate, winning 2 from 4.
60.
But you can't go winless on Fridays. Not when you've only got 4 points. There is a danger that the last match in this group will be a dead rubber between Hendrick and Hein. Hein is going to have to get motoring against Mike van Duijvenbode next if he stands any hope.
100.
But Hendrick has taken the darts here in this 5th leg. Remember, was 3-0 behind. But crucially, Mitchell hasn't had a match dart yet. It was a 14 darter in the previous. He could have back-to-back here. And we said that he may need a Jamie Atkins-like burst in the last few legs. Well, back-to-back 14s would be exactly the 107.36 that he ascertained in the last 4 legs against Thomas Banks. But Mitchell here has left himself
Stefan,
on double 18.
80.
And Hendrick here has to take the 80 out.
Bullseye.
55.
That might be the last dart he
Scott, you
throws
require
with
36.
any hope of qualification. It's time for Scotty Dog to fetch.
Double 18. 2 9s. Doesn't
27.
go. And how many
Stefan, you
times has
require
Hendrick been
25.
presented with opportunities like this week?
Too many. And it happens again.
On a 5th leg, Stefan Hendrick.
I hate to use the phrase from the chip shops,
6th
but
leg,
Mr.
it's
Chips
Stefan
this week
to
has
throw
been picking up
first.
the scraps.
Game on.
You get scraps down here, don't you?
Yeah.
140.
One of the world's best referees once worked in a chip shop. Charlie Corsafine was once serving fish and chips in Southend.
100.
Nice place.
What is it with referees in Essex?
59.
Is that a rhetorical question?
I'll put it this way, 2 of our most high-profile referees here hail from that county.
140.
Yeah, the big-time referees have come from different places over the years. Bruce Spenley was from Hartlepool. Russ Bray
92.
from London. Played county for Hertfordshire, in fact.
George Noble, similar neck of the woods.
Absolutely. Lives in West Sussex now. Paul Hinks. No mistaking where he's from.
100.
And Mitchell's had a really typical leg here. 1-6-1 after 9. Typical typical Mitchell.
83. Scott, you require 161.
Well, that's worked out pretty well. He's left the hinks.
But he may not get a go. However, Mitchell spurns dart 1. He's going to recover, but Hendrick, if he finds this, we go all the way to 3-3 from 3-0 down. And how many times have we seen that happen today?
137. Stefan, you require 127.
One more touch of brilliance needed by the sole Belgian this week. It's not on.
64.
But what is on
Scott, you require 24.
is a chance for Mitchell to get his second spot back.
Double 6. But he's now missed a visit's worth of match darts
Stefan,
in
you
2
require
successive
63.
legs. And Stefan Hendrick now comes back for 63 to make it 3-3. From out of nowhere, if the truth be told.
Stop giving him chances.
43. Scott, you require
It's amazing how many
6.
dart players tilt their head as if to say, is it in? Is it in? Oh, it's not in.
From the top of the board to the bottom of the board. Can he loop it over the top?
3.
No, he cannot.
Stefan, you require 20.
Mitchell should be in the practice room right now. We should be halfway through the next match. But this marathon night has another twist and turn in it.
10. Scott, you
To
require
finally
3.
finish this game off.
This is one of the hardest checkouts in darts.
Madhouse.
Game
And
shot
finally,
and the match.
the
Scott Mitchell.
chips are down because Stefan Hendrick is out. And Scotty Dog Mitchell is on the cusp of making it through. Well, he made it hard work, didn't he? The pair have a discussion about that match. They have a good laugh about that match. The scoring was really good for Mitchell, but once again, the finishing leaves a lot to be desired. He gets that elusive win, which will put him almost there. And if Mike van Dijvenbode can beat Steve Hine, then it will be all over. We all know Mitchell's through. We all know Van Dijvenbode is through. We all know Lonsdale is through. And we're going to watch Hine and Van Dijvenbode go toe-to-toe. And do not go anywhere because we've got more tungsten tension to come. Why, hello there, and welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we are enjoying a terrific late night's worth of action here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Before the break, Scott Mitchell beat Stefan Hendrick by 4 legs to 2, and he is almost through to tomorrow night's final. And it would be rubber stamped if the Pigeon can demolish the Muffin Man. Mike Van Dyvenbode taking on Steve Hine. And, well, the Pigeon looking to swoop on the Muffin.
First leg, it's Steve to throw first. Game on.
3 more games to go. And what drama
100.
we have ahead of us. And of course, for Hine, this is last chance salute. Loses this one, and then we know the 3 players that are through. Mike Van Dyvenbode has sent himself through early on this evening. He can send the other players through with him. He may well be everybody's best friend.
108.
But Hine, it has to be said, found another level against Mitchell. He struggled in his match against Tom Lonsdale, but then really upped it against the
30.
former Lakeside champion. This could be a dangerous game for Mike, potentially.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
94.
But I don't think his confidence has been done any good from that previous game he played with Lonsdale. He missed 23 darts at double in that match.
Steve, you require 127.
Hine needs to take care of his business.
119.
He almost does in 12 darts in the first leg here. Let's face it, Henry. After everything we've seen the last couple of nights and the last couple of afternoons,
140.
and
Steve,
for the heck of
require
it, why don't we say all week? We wouldn't be surprised to
shot
see
of
Steve
first
Hine
leg,
in
Steve
Saturday night
Hine.
now. He's just at a 13 darter.
Second leg, it's Mike to throw
He's
first.
got a minus
Game
4 leg difference before this game started. And he has 4 points.
57.
He must win this game and his game against Stefan Hendrick.
100.
His best chance of getting through is Tom Lonsdale being absolutely
96.
demolished by Mitchell. But that is completely moot
81.
if he doesn't beat Van Dyvenbode.
$140.
I think Van Dyvenbode in this match is glad that he's safe and he can get his job done the quickest.
100.
Leave. He can revel in the fact that he's won the group and let everybody else sweat it out for an additional 40 minutes.
38.
Well, he's known at about 10:30 that he's going to be into Saturday night's final.
95.
It may well be 1:30
Mike,
in
you
the
require
morning till we find out the last
170.
name through.
$60. Steve, you require
Does the Muffin Man
125.
have a little bit of... Oh, okay. He's going his own way, and there's a reason why you don't go
85.
that route.
Mike,
Because
you
if you
require
get treble 18, you still
110.
need a treble. Mike doesn't need a treble. He needs a double.
92.
But he
Steve, you
hasn't been able
require
to
40.
buy one tonight, has Mike Van Dyvenbode, even though he's had success everywhere he's flown the Pigeon. Double 15.
Game shot on his
I
second
don't
leg.
know
Steve Hine.
how, what, where, why with Steve Hine and the doubles tonight. But he's 2-0 up.
Third leg. It's Steve to throw first.
He's
Game
not
on.
playing badly. But the thing I can't wrap my brain around, there are weeks
60.
where we see patterns. Missed doubles, lots of 180s, all sorts of different things we can measure. If I were to go to the people who keep all of the records of what we have for the week.
140.
They would look at me strangely when I ask for this. Tell me how many times, when going for double top, people have hit double 5 this week. It's happened probably more times this week than it's happened this year.
60.
Yeah, I think our stats buffing is good, but not even he is that good.
100.
Simply put, Steve Hines doing his job right now.
Well, he's averaging 97.2. The doubling's been okay, even if it has been a bit crazy at points. And it felt like after losing that first game, it could be all over for Steve, but he has
99.
recovered miraculously well. And if the truth be told, if we're being completely honest, following that first game against Lonsdale, the consequence behind that defeat,
96.
it's looked a little bit unlikely, but credit has to go where credit's due because he's 108 points away from a 3-0 lead.
73. Mike, you require 109.
Chances few and far between for the Pigeon. And it could be 3-0 Hine.
93. Steve, you require
Let's see if he can
35.
clean this up. Double 16.
19.
I feel his pain.
Mike, you require 16.
And the pain might be magnified.
2 8s. 2
Ace
1.
on a third leg.
And
Mike
Van
Van
Dyver
Dyvenbode.
breaks back.
This table
Full
has got
flag.
my
It's Mike to
attention.
throw first. Game on.
After everything Lonsdale's been through tonight, I'm going to make a bold prediction.
60.
I think he's got to beat Mitchell. Because I think Hines going to beat Hendrick.
99.
And I've got a sneaky feeling he's winning this match too. Imagine getting 6 points on a Friday night and not qualifying. But that is a real possibility for Tom Lonsdale.
60.
And if that happens, the 5 days of darts he's played here this week,
83.
he's going to need a holiday. He's going to feel like 19th century linen. He's been put through the ringer.
$100.
Well done. Van Dyver here looking to work her way back into the match, and it has been a week of squandered leads.
99.
That is incredibly accurate.
$57.
Well, look at Simon Adams in Group C. He was in a qualification spot pretty much the entire group and lost it in the last
28.
round.
Well, if the Team GB rowing team have told us anything over the last couple of days, it doesn't matter when you're in front. The only time that matters is when you cross the finishing line. And Moreno Blom at no point in the day was in a qualification position until the final match of the group.
67.
Well, that was a somewhat fortunate treble, wasn't it? He was going for a single 14, I believe.
58. Mike, you require 157.
What does Hine do on 134?
97. Steve, you require 134.
Well, I think your guess is as good as mine.
That's why I left it to you.
94.
I wouldn't have been surprised if he started on the bullseye.
Well, Mike could be more conventional for this. 2 darts at tops. That may have bounced in and out of the target, but he finds that one.
Four flag, Mike Van Dyven.
And from 2-0 up, Steve Hine has been pegged back to 2-2.
Right now,
Fifth flag, it's
Tom
Steve to
Lonsdale
throw first.
is
Game on.
Mike's biggest fan.
Did you think it was going to be easy?
60.
There's no such thing. Ooh, hello, Mike. Doing a bit of a Dimitri Vandenberg there, are we?
140. $97.
Looks like the pigeon's got plenty of energy left.
100.
And he doesn't expel a great deal of stress when he plays this game. Look at him in the background.
100.
He's not constantly berating himself like some players do. He's laid back. And that uses less energy. Think about some of the players that we've had here, and Aaron Monk is the perfect example of this.
55.
Look back at the time where he lost in a final on a Saturday night to Colin Osborne and what he was doing to himself. Just being Aaron Monk is a calorie burner.
97.
But this guy is so relaxed, he might as well be doing sit-ups on a park
96.
bench
Steve, you require 147.
on a Saturday afternoon in 25 degrees.
83.
But in 25 degree heat, he might be the weekly champion in as little as 22 hours' time.
Game shot of fifth leg.
What a recovery after dart 1. It's the first Top Plus checker of the night. And for 2-0 behind, Van Dijvenbode is in
Sixth
front.
leg, it's Mike
And
to throw
suddenly,
first.
Hein with
Game
a
on.
perplexed look on his face had a position of authority, and now he could be a leg away from elimination because suddenly,
140.
the pigeon late at night has awoken and he could swoop this game away from the Muffin Man. And we know what
31.
pigeons are like in terms of nicking food.
$93.
It's either the next two legs for Hein
$139.
or he's toast. And pigeons like toast, apparently.
Reports will say, White Mush can have some more.
58.
If I hear a pigeon say that to me, I'm going to be too busy running away from it.
85.
Going to the police station and saying, I've just seen a talking pigeon. And then I'll be in a straitjacket.
But Van Dijvenbode is closing in here.
137.
Well, let's face it, darts is the only sport where you can get a talking pigeon.
100. Mike, you require
Is the game
73.
up for the Muffin Man? It could well be so. At 2-0, Hein was cruising. But he might be gone.
69.
Well, that
Steve, you
was a
require
qualification dart for
146.
Mitchell and Lonsdale. Well, this would be a miraculous act of escapology for Hein if he found the 146. But this is going to have to go
Mike, you
now.
require
And this
4.
is awkward double two. And Van Dijvenbode's doubles at times has
Game
been
shot and the
dodgy,
match.
but that
Mike
time
Van
it comes to the
Dijvenbode.
fore. And Steve Hein has been eliminated. And Tom Lonsdale and Scott Mitchell are both through to tomorrow night's final. Hein tried to pull off the great comeback act, but it is Van Dijvenbode who sends him out and sends Lonsdale and Mitchell through. They meet in game 9 of our session, and they can just relax. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. 2 more matches for us to go before the break. Mike Van Dyven Modus sent the 2 men that are playing in our penultimate match through, Tom Lonsdale and Scott Mitchell. That's our referee, Jack Garwood, ready for the match ahead of us. For Mitchell and Lonsdale, well, they've done the hard work. They are both through to tomorrow night's final. By hook and by crook, they are there. They have not had the easiest of evenings, that's fair to say. But the pressure is off in terms of that. Now it's just about securing P2, which is what the winner of this game will get. It will mean that they will join Group 1 tomorrow night. And that will be joining Conor Heenahan and Moreno Blom in action.
First
the
leg,
loser of this game will be
first.
alongside Mike Van Dyvenbode and Thomas Banks in group number 2. So that's all the equations and the summarisations that you need. And summarising all of the action as he has done all week long with perfect aplomb is our perfect asset, Paul Nicholson.
$41.
Sorry, I did that first bit in sign language. I was just marvelling at aplomb.
51.
Never had such an introduction.
I could change it if you want.
I'm sure you'll have plenty of an opportunity.
85.
Well, the pressure is off. These two have accomplished mission 1.
32.
Lonsdale will be thinking, how have I done this? But when he wakes up in the morning, he's going to have a very difficult mission for the next one. Finding the next level to contend on the Saturday night, because he's not played well as the week's gone on. He just happens to have played better than other people
57.
have. Mitchell, he's had one good game tonight. That's the one he's won. 89 average in beating Stefan Hendrick, who is now eliminated. We don't have
95.
as many reservations about Scotty Dog, because we know that come Saturday he will just say, it's a different day. I know how to put it right.
57.
But with Lonsdale, he doesn't have the same amount of experience. So it'll be fascinating to see, A, where he lands, in which group, and B, how he handles it.
140.
Well, you hope that it's reset mentality and he treats it as a completely different competition.
59.
Well, these
Scott,
two
you
are big in
require
completely
40.
different stratospheres in this leg. Mitchell looking at tops to get the job done.
Game
And
shot
it
on the
goes.
first leg. Scott
goes
Mitchell.
the way of Scotty Dog. He breaks the throw to lead 1-0.
Second leg, it's Scott to throw first.
Outside of here, it's
Game
a
on.
busy weekend on the ADC Championship Tour circuit. The final weekend of that competition will get underway in
140.
around about 10 hours' time at Bradmore Farm. In fact, it's a player that's playing tomorrow night, Thomas
97.
Banks, that leads that particular order of merit. Now, the top 8 players at the end of that Tour order of merit in the men's and women's division will make their way through to a Championship Tour finals, which will be streamed on a Saturday afternoon here at the Live Lounge
100.
in Ports. Of the top 4 in the men's rankings at the end of play on Sunday will qualify for the Global Championship, whilst the top 2 in the women's order of merit will
49.
also be here for the major event that is taking place here at the Live Lounge towards the end of 2024.
Is Lonsdale another player that
140.
is going to go from here to the ADC event on Sunday?
To the best of my knowledge, yes. He's 12th in that order of merit. So the problem would be
100. Scott, you
playing
require
here tomorrow
121.
probably may well be a bridge too far for him. He'd have to probably win one. Goes ball first dart, Mitchell.
That's okay. 53 left, confirmed.
81.
That's worked out really well. just to set the record straight, these guys
59.
might know,
Scott, you require
Mitchell probably
40.
more than Tom, as to where they would land if
Game
they
shot
win
on the
this match.
second leg,
That
Scott
13 darter
Mitchell.
for Mitchell gives him a 2-0 lead. Now, when you're playing, it's very different. When you're sitting
Third
in this
leg,
seat
it's
as a
Tom to throw
commentator,
first.
all the
Game on.
permutations swim through your mind and you can communicate them. However, when you're playing, it's very, very
60.
different. That's 120 on the floor by the looks of it for Tom. If you were to ask Mitchell right now, would he rather be in Group 1 or Group 2? He will not care. He just wants to win this game and see where he lands.
Scott's one of those people that it doesn't matter who's in front of him. He's going to treat every
66.
single imposter the same. And to quote that Tennyson poem, well, that will do for him.
Well, things have just taken a bit of a literary turn.
100.
You may just be the first darts commentator to ever quote Tennyson. Although Sidney Dell
57.
did graduate from Oxford, so he probably did at some point in putting Jockey Wilson in there.
$121.
Well, Mitchell's doing what he did in the first 3 legs of his game against Stefan Hendrick, where he went off to a fast start. But we did see a bit of a stall in the middle of the match, and
96.
Hendricks did reel
Scott, you require
off a couple of
140.
legs. But the difference is Lonsdale doesn't look likely. He'll just be happy to be through. Mitchell looks like he's got this game exactly where he wants it.
100.
He looks like he's going to be wrapping up P2.
Yeah, it looks like it is. I just don't see anywhere that Tom's going to win this match. It doesn't look likely.
42. Scott, you require 40.
This
Game
is
shot on the
great work
third
from
leg,
Mitchell.
Scott Mitchell.
This might just be the performance of the week. And he's just
Fourth
reminding
leg, it's
everybody of
Scott
who
to
he
throw
is.
First. Game on.
Mitchell here, averaging 107.36. Remember what we were saying earlier about his
100.
record average? It's 107.78 in any recorded competition.
So, in order to break that in this match, he's going to need a 13 dart leg.
42.
Yes.
Well, why not? He's just had one. And he's got a brilliant start to leg 4.
180. 57.
Tom Lonsdale is playing on vapour. And I think he's going to be very happy when this group is finished so he can draw a line under everything that's happened the last 5 days. And tomorrow he will
60.
be given free license to go up there and just give it a crack.
Well, actually, that's his biggest in individual competition, but there was an average of 111.33
Scott,
in
you
a
require
British international
161.
match against Ryan Hogarth in 2019.
This is for a 12 darter. Bullseye.
122.
Just fancies it now, doesn't he? And now he can't get a 13 dart leg.
58.
He might have to settle
Scott, you require
for a
39.
5-visit leg just to get the job done.
Double 16.
Game
What
shot
a
and the match.
performance from Scott Mitchell. 107.36 the average as he beats Tom Lonsdale in next to no time at all. What a performance that was from the former Lakeside champion. He moves into P2 in the table. Mike van Dijvenbode, the group winner. Tom Lonsdale is through, but he's going to have to regroup tomorrow evening. Our final game sees the bottom two jostle it out. It's the race for 4th, and it's live.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
They've both got the talent where they can reel off leg after leg, and dish out a heavy defeat. Seems what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
Well, what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree. Only needs the one.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
Game shot on the third leg. Reece
Is that
Robinson.
the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it. And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius Labanowski. Game shot.
Well, Smith, is it
Darius
a
Labanowski.
9? A long time. And that clenched fist.
Game shot on the
Oh,
mark.
he gets the job done in the end. He's nodding in total agreement because
Game shot on the fourth flag.
Just like
Darius
that.
Labanowski.
he needs the one. There you can see.
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him, and is. It was a great guide.
Game shot on the first leg. Andreas
It's a
Harrison.
breaker throw for Andres Harrison.
Game shot on the second leg. Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw, double 16 is found.
And he does lead.
The fifth leg. Game shot on the
It's not an
sixth
11,
leg.
but
Andreas
it's a
Harrison.
beautiful 12, treble 17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. One final game to go here on this Friday evening. Full of tungsten tension, and we're going to see, well, a bit of a food-inspired finale to proceedings, because we're going to see Mr. Chips take on the Muffin Man, and if that's not enough to give you maybe the craving for a midnight snack, well, I don't know what will. But before the break, it was Scotty Dog that really was lapping it all up.
First
He got the
leg,
better
it's Stefan
of
to
Tom
the road
Lonsdale by
first.
4-0, averaging 107.36. Well, they're going to have to try and keep him on a leash tomorrow night if he plays like that. But for the final time this week, we are going to see
43.
Mr. Chips in action. And you know what, Nico? Whilst it's me, you and our friends watching on YouTube at this
42.
late hour, let's play a game of darts catchphrase.
Nope.
100.
I don't have to go along with that. I want to sit here and watch the darts.
96.
YouTube chat room, you can get involved in this. I want you to tell us your favourite darts
58.
catchphrases.
I like how you just ignored me. I've got other ideas.
60.
I want to see how leg one goes, and then I've got something really interesting to talk about. I've been saving this for 2 days. Don't rain on my parade, Deacon.
60.
You're doing something to my chips right now.
40.
'How are these guys feeling right now, being eliminated?
85.
Not great, especially when Stefan is playing his 23rd game of the week. He did well to make Group B. Let's
99.
get that right.
Stefan, you require 155.
But it's going to be all over Red Rover.
43.
See, not everybody makes
Steve, you require
Saturday night on debut.
164. 84. Stefan, you require 112.
This is a swift game. There's the treble.
72.
And the
Steve,
double
you
might be
require
provided by
80.
the Muffin Man for the break. Double 10.
Game
There
shot
it
on
is.
first leg, Steve Hine.
Right. I've been saving this. A matter of a week ago, I was in
Second
Reykjavik
leg, it's Steve to throw first.
and
Game on.
made some new friends. Ran into an old friend
108.
by the name of Ingebjorg Magnusdottir, the best female player in Iceland, many-time national champion.
45.
And they showed me around a wonderful place called the Bullseye Darts Club. What a venue. And apparently,
81.
they have a really good menu there of refreshments and food. And they make
81.
stone-baked pizzas there. And you might think, what's he going on about? Their pizza
45.
menu means you can order pizzas based on dart players. They have a Flying Scotsman, a snake bite,
23.
a Queen of the Palace, a Hawaii 501, you know what's on that one. There's an Iceman pizza,
137.
one called the Bull, one called the Machine, and one called Mighty Mike. Which one would you like to know?
139.
Has which
Steve, you
ingredients?
require 58.
You let me know in leg 3.
Well, Hine could be 2-0 up here in the space of no time at all,
38.
but he's sparing opportunities at double top. 2 of them, in fact.
35. Steve, you require 20. Game shot on his second leg, Steve Hine.
I wonder if he's trying to forget about that position he was in
Third
against
leg,
Mike
it's
van
Stefan to
Duivenbode
throw
because it was
first.
really good at the start,
Game on.
wasn't it? He let it slip. And judging by what he saw
58.
from Mitchell and Lonsdale, it looks like Hine is going to be
58.
so agonizingly short. But we can't forget that at the start of yesterday's play, or should I say Thursday night's play, he did let something
76.
slip against this guy. Which one do you want to know the ingredients for then?
What would be in a Raging Bull
140.
pizza?
Blue cheese sauce. That's different. Buffalo chicken. Fresh mozzarella and buffalo
100.
hot sauce on a pizza?
At least they didn't have pineapple in there.
No, that's on the Hawaii 501.
180.
Pineapple does not belong on a pizza. And as for buffalo chicken on a pizza,
29. Steve, you require
I'll have to be the judge of that.
123.
Well, leg 3 isn't going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3 for Steve Hine,
121.
but he's hit 2 treble 20 to leave double 1. This has been an incredible night.
42. Steve, you require 2.
What is going on? He's left Madhouse
No
after
score.
12, and his opponent, by the way, is nowhere to be seen on the scene.
78. Steve, you
How
require
about this time?
2. Game shot on a
forget
third
about the
leg,
rules.
Steve Hine.
He shreds them. It's not one up, one in. It's just one in. You can see the disappointment
Fourth
from
leg,
Hine.
it's Steve to throw first. Game on.
He had very big ambitions here this week of making Saturday and contending once again.
36.
And I just thought that with the way that
60.
Hendrik has played this week, he was playing with house money at one point.
137.
And I just wonder with his level of performance, looking at that 78 average from last night, even though he was third and in a qualification position, I
41.
just thought that at one point he would just run out of house money, and he did.
60.
Just quickly, what would be on an asset pizza?
$57.
San Marzano tomato sauce, mozzarella, basil, olive oil.
$94.
That's it.
Well, this is making me feel hungry enough for a kebab when I leave here tonight.
Good luck with that diet.
43.
Yeah, well, that's taken a little bit of a tumbling this evening.
100.
2.5 weeks it's taken me to crack.
Well, your diet has gone the right way to be compared to these two because they're both leaving.
140. Steve, you require 74.
Who's going to leave it high? It looks like it's going to be Steve Hine. It's double 16.
42.
For what would have been a 4-0 win.
Stefan, you require 160.
I think he's going to get it this time, though.
32.
For 4-0.
Game shot.
In it
and
goes,
the
and Steve Hine, well, he ends with a win. He'll be disappointed not to make it through to the final tomorrow evening. It was the slow start on night one, which ultimately made pay for Steve Hine. That's the tale of the tape from our final game of the evening session. Well, it's been an intriguing session, hasn't it? But it's seen Mike Van Dijvenbode, Scott Mitchell and Tom Lonsdale progress through to the finals tomorrow night. And myself and Paul Nicholson are going to have an in-depth chat about it after the break. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where me and Paul Nicholson are going to be rounding up everything that we've seen so far this evening. 10 matches have been and gone on this Friday night. These are the results from them, and it really was a crazy night's worth of action. Tom Lonsdale and Scott Mitchell joined Mike Van Dijvenbode, who confirmed his place through to the finals relatively early, it has to be said, in the evening. Won his first 2 matches, 2 of the first 3 to book his place through. But then Mitchell and Lonsdale had to sweat it out in the end. The asset is alongside me. Let's talk Mike Van Dijvenbode. It's one of those evenings in a Group B when a player goes through as early as Mike did in Game 3. The rest of the night can be quite hard to assess because that natural adrenaline isn't quite there.
Yeah, especially when Mike hasn't been playing that much. I think he's still trying to search for what he wants to do long term. And this is just a small sample size as to what is going to be, potentially a long career. He's only 25. So it's been a good campaign. He's won the group. But as to what he's going to do tomorrow, I think he's seen as a consistent performer. But we've seen from other ADC qualifiers in the past that they can go up a notch on a Saturday night. I'll be interested to see what Mike does.
And it's going to be interesting with Mike, no matter what happens tomorrow night, the foundations that he's built over the last couple of days look very, very promising in terms of what the short-term future, maybe the long-term future could look like for him.
Yeah, you've got to take it one step at a time. First step last night was very solid. Tonight, he got the job done quickly. That tells us something about him. He didn't want to wait around for it to be done in Game 8. By that time, he'd already been through for about 90 minutes. So he doesn't have a problem getting the job done early. But I'm glad that he had the job done by that time, because otherwise that game against Tom Lonsdale would have him tearing his hair out.
Well, Scott Mitchell came through in second position. It wasn't really a night where things went his own way, despite ending with that 107 average, but he was made to sweat for it in the end.
He was, but it just goes to show what Scott can do when the pressure is slightly off. I think that 4th game of the night could be key to his confidence, because he hasn't played that brilliantly in this group. But at least before it was over, he put in a performance, and he has performed better than anybody this week in a best-of-7 match. So he's got that to take home with him.
Well, Tom Lonsdale, the other qualifier through Group B, his performances this evening have not been to shout home about, and Tom will be the first to admit that. However, he found a way to get through.
He's through this group, but with the way he's played the last couple of nights, he doesn't win on Saturday night. It's going to have to be a remarkable turnaround, and his confidence won't be great even though he's won 3 games tonight. It's a strange thing to say, but he can be proud that he has won his way through to another Saturday night, and it's been one of the most attritional weeks I've seen for a player to qualify. But his participation in Saturday, it's going to be a really interesting interview just before he plays his first match. I'm not really sure where his head's at, and as for which group he's in, it's going to be a hard task no matter who he's got.
So the 6 players for tomorrow night's final have been confirmed. This is how they've done it. Conor Heenahan won Group A on Wednesday. Thomas Banks and Moreno Blom made it through this afternoon. And, of course, the 3 players in the middle of your screen there, the 3 who made it through Group B tonight. So we know the 6 that are through to the final. This is how it's going to play out tomorrow evening. These are the groups that are in play. Group 1, Conor Heenahan, Scott Mitchell, Moreno Blom. Group 2, Mike Van Duijvenbode, Thomas Banks and Tom Lonsdale. Let's begin by talking about Group 1, which on paper looks fairly evenly matched. The 2 bookmakers' favourites before dart was thrown tonight, both in there.
Yeah, I think Group 1's stronger on the whole. I think Blom is peaking at the right time, like he usually does. I think Mitchell has shown that he can peak towards the end. He has done in his 8th game tonight. And Heenahan has had a couple of days off to try and figure things out because he said he wasn't playing great in Group A, even though he won it. I still think on reputation and experience, that is the stronger of the 2 groups. And I think the main benefactor of Group 2 is Thomas Banks. I'll be amazed if he doesn't get through that group.
In terms of Tom Lonsdale, does he have to treat tomorrow as a tournament isolation? Forget about what's happened this year, because we know what he can do on this stage. He's posted 111 average here at the Live Lounge in the past. If he treats it as something completely different, could he have some joy? Because we know what's in the locker.
Yeah, we do know what's in the locker. I think my advice to Tom is this. It's very, very simple. Ambition is out the window. Don't think about winning it. Go out there and enjoy every single minute and open your shoulders. Forget about pressure, forget about ambition, go and play darts in front of some great darts fans and just go and give it some. And you never know what might happen.
Is there a clear favourite tomorrow night?
No. But there is a favourite in my eyes, and that's Thomas Banks. He's the one who's been bubbling up all week to the right point. And we were speaking to him earlier in here. I was getting all the right vibes from him, whereas everybody else has just been a bit more nervy. So I'm going to go for Banks. Whereas a lot of people are probably going to go for Mitchell and some people will go for Heenahan. But based on numbers and likelihoods, I've seen a lot from Banks that I admire.
Right, we shall do it one more time tomorrow night. Nico, thank you for your company over the last day or so. Thank you for your company at home as well. And we do it all again, the last dance tomorrow night from 7:30 p.m. here on the Super Series YouTube channel. And well, on a week where everybody's going for gold, well, it's the Dutchman Mike Van Duijvenbode that was top of the table. But who is going to pick up the medal and pick up their place in Champions Week?